The Union Avenue is today's feature, and Clip the Coupon Annie awaits her Saratoga debut. Can she make it 6 wins in 8 career starts for trainer Todd Pletcher? He's a prominent figure on the New York racing circuit as a successful owner and philanthropist. We'll hear how he's helped transform lives at the racetrack and the project most dear to Michael Dubb's heart, the creation of Anna House, bringing top-level education and child daycare to the backstretch at Belmont Park. That story and more when he joins us later on in the show. Welcome to Saratoga Live on this Thursday afternoon. It's presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Another beautiful day at Saratoga Springs, New York, at the premier race meet in all the country. Great crowd on hand as we get set for Alabama Week. Coming up this weekend, it will be sensational. We're going to talk plenty of Alabama later on in the show. Greg Wolf alongside racing analyst Gabby Gaudette. Union Avenue is our feature today. Great field, even with the defending champ scratching out of the mix. Might even be more wide open now. But, of course, everyone looking forward to the Alabama, one of the deepest fields assembled for this race in a long, long time.
I completely agree with you, Greg. And talking about the feature race of the day, Kazan is likely going to be your heavy favorite, but she really hasn't been in the form in her 3 starts this year that she was in last year. So perhaps a vulnerable favorite. And you mentioned the Alabama coming up this weekend. A whole bunch of storylines. We've got New Money Honey, a filly who has solely raced on the turf. She's one of the leaders in her division. She's trying to go down a different avenue. But talking about Salty, Elate, and Unchained Melody is your favorite, but this is going to be a contentious field.
Top to bottom, absolutely loaded field for the Alabama. We look forward to it on Saturday. We're going to be joined now by Maggie Wolfendale. So many intriguing storylines in this race as well with these 3-year-old fillies, Maggie.
It is so exciting to have Alabama like this, Greg. I completely agree. One of those storylines is surfaces. As you heard Gabby just say, New Money Honey will be trying the dirt for the first time. Now, she is the daughter of Medaglia d'Oro. He needs no introduction, but look, he's thrown Songbird, Rachel Alexandra. Those are fillies that have been very competitive in long distances over the dirt. Now, she has a full sister who has won on the main track with 2 seconds as well. And she does draw the inside, though, which is a little bit concerning for a filly that can have a little bit of speed. She's also going to have to face a filly who is switching surfaces, but Holy Helena, she is going from the Tapeta up at Woodbine back to the dirt. Now, Holy Helena, she has dominated males in Canada as well as the females in winning the Woodbine Oaks and the Queen's Plate, but those are races restricted to Canadian-bred horses. She's back against what is open company for this Alabama. But the thing going for both of these fillies, they're the only 2 that have won over the 1.25 mile distance. They just have yet to do it on the main track. So it's a deep field. It's a competitive one. They've won grade 1s. So looking forward to this immensely, Greg, this Saturday.
We were looking forward to it last year for a different reason. We had a superstar horse in the race. Songbird dominated and did her thing. This year, tons of star power, and it is still completely wide open, so we cannot wait. But let's get into today's action. We're going to be bringing you races 7, 8, and 9 on the card. And the 7th race, 1 3/16 miles, that's on the turf and allowance optional claiming group. Race 8 is our feature. That is the Union Avenue at 6.5 furlongs on the main track for fillies and mares 3 and up. And we will close things out race 9 with a New York bred maiden special weight 5.5 furlong sprint on the turf. Track conditions today, it's been beautiful all day long. They're brought to you by John Deere, main track fast, and the turf condition listed as firm. You can play along from home and bet these races that we show you live here on the show. Bet 200 and you will get 200 in your account. Use the promo code PICK5 to take advantage. You can get signed up and started with NYRA bets all across the country. So go there now, get signed up and take advantage of that promo. Again, the promo code PICK5. Here is the field for the first race we'll be bringing you. Again, 1 3/16 miles on the turf. And Chad Brown, Gabby, now falling 1 behind Todd Pletcher for the training title. So no doubts he wants to get right back there into that tie. He sends out the one here to Purge, who's the 7-5 favorite.
We got a heavy favorite on the turf for Chad Brown at Saratoga. What's new? She definitely has the credentials in order to win this race. Well posted towards the inside. She is coming off a layoff. That doesn't concern me. My concern and her concern is probably the main speed of the 4 Summer Luck in here. So this is going to be an interesting race.
Well, let's bring in the rest of our crew here downstairs. New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling, former New York Met Los Angeles Dodger, Paul LaDuca. Guys, what's your take on the favorite?
Well, it's the Chad Brown factor. You know, the truth is the one to Parrish, who has not run since this winter, it's been over 4 months, she's not necessarily even faster on the turf than the 4-horse. And the 4, her main rival, Summer Luck, has speed. What Parrish has is Chad Brown. It just seems as though, Paul, he delivers in these situations consistently.
He wins these races more than not. You're right. I thought this was a good ride this day by Javier Castellano. He actually kept the 4-horse locked in at the top of the stretch. Now, did he get the job done? Was he moving great late for a Chad Brown runner? He started to move it on. But you're right. When these races get to a mile and an 1/8 to a mile and a 3/16 and a little bit over than that, you got to rely on the trainer a little bit, and that's why Chad does win these type of races.
He definitely does. And Tapers was compromised last time by a track that was very firm, and I think it was favoring horses with early speed. And the winner, Conquest Hard Candy, was able to wire the field. The second-place finisher, Happy Mesa,
that was a loaded race.
is a talented horse.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad field. She'll probably be ready to run. He does well off layoffs. But the 4 Summer Luck, her chief competition, has the advantage of looking on paper to be the speed of this race. And while the inner turf course may be a little more speed favoring, the melon turf has also gotten very firm.
Yeah.
And her speed is going to certainly be an advantage.
I thought she ran well in the Regret. And to me, I thought she actually showed more speed. Her other races were lacking. Now, I don't know if they were trying to rate her before, but to me, she ran well that day. Now you're looking at the common race runners in here. Proctor's Ledge, who ends up running second in here, is the horse that you end up seeing Tapers lost to 2 back. So common rivals in here. You know what I liked about this horse is that not only did this horse get blind switched down the backstretch, was able to re-rally and sort of finish third. I thought the horse finished with some interest.
What I think is really in her corner in that race is the pace completely fell apart, and she was chasing a pace setter. There's a big price, and she still, Gabby did a good job in finishing third.
And that's the way that I saw the race as well, Andy. We saw that long shot go out and set pretty quick fractions, and unfortunately she was on the chase the entire way around there, and the pace really didn't hold together, and she was the only one that was more forwardly placed in there that actually hit the board. We saw Sweeping Patty really close from off of the pace, and that's the only race that you can judge her in terms of her turf performances.
Yeah, now, Initiate, the 10, also has speed. But Initiate isn't necessarily as fast as Summer Luck unless Irad Ortiz decides to get aggressive. And I doubt Javier Castellano is running Summer Luck will get her go. Initiate's not untalented, but, Paul, she's had 2 straight chances when she's been able to control in moderate paces at Belmont Park. Kieran McLaughlin, with 2 different horses, ran her down each time. There are close defeats where you're unlucky. I feel like she should have won each one, even though the horse that beat her a few back is actually pretty good.
By the way, look at the horse and the rail, the 2 Lido. I still can't believe she lost this race. She looks home and cooled out. She looked home and cooled out in the other race, 3 back. And I still can't believe she lost this race. She was never losing this race till the last jump. It's a little unlucky.
It's hard to see. Well, she's supposed to have won.
She's supposed to have won. You're right. You're 100% right.
She's going to have to stalk the 4 in here, put the 4 away, and hold off closers like the 1 Tapers and even the 2 Awesome Boss, who we'll get to later. But Maggie wants to talk about horses, and particularly Tapers, I assume, who's coming off a layoff.
That's right, Andy. The 2 inside stalls are occupied by fillies that are coming off breaks, and Tapers, she is one of those. Now, she's a filly that, I'll be honest, I'm not totally well known. I don't know her. I don't have any notes on her, to be completely honest. So I don't have any reference points about how fit she was going back. She looks pretty fit to me, but the thing is Chad Brown's numbers are just too good for this filly to be affected by not being fit. More than likely she is, and I just honestly don't know her. So I'm really at a disadvantage when I don't know horses prior to coming back in off layoff. So we'll see, and she's also going to have to stretch out to the mile and 3/16 here. I'll be honest, I'm not totally in love with it, but she can do it, I suppose. Moving on to number 2, that is Awesome Boss. She returns to the turf after she made her first 2 starts there, and I kind of like that. Like the surface change for her. She looks a little more turfy to me. She's grown up. She is a filly that is always kind of on the muscle, on the bridle, and though she doesn't have much gate speed, which might play against her here as, you know, sometimes these turf races are dominated by horses towards the front end. But I just think she's very intriguing, giving her physical makeup, the fact that she is very fit too here, coming off a layoff dating back to March, getting back to the grass. Moving on to number 10, that is Initiate. She has yet to go this far in her career either, but physically she looks very well suited to it. She just looks like one of those very classic thoroughbreds that the more distance they get to run over, the better they become. I'm wondering if this is what she's wanted all along here for Shug McGahee. So I think Initiate is very intriguing, and she is one that has some speed here, Greg.
Yes, she is, and we'll see how aggressive Irad Ortiz Jr. is with her. He got to the lead last time out, but these were very slow fractions. And, of course, Summer Luck looks like she could be quicker in this spot. We're going to take a break in the action. It's a crucial role to get horses to fire their best shot in the afternoon. We're learning the role of the exercise rider later on in the show.
The graded stakes winning son of Bernardini is off to a sensational start at stud. Among the leading freshman sires by winners in graded stakes horses, his first crop 2-year-olds commanded prices up to 36 times his stud fee. Leading progeny include TD and Rising Star Recruiting Ready, second in the Bashford Manor Stakes, and stakes place performer Junket. The pedigree, speed, and class to become the next star in this sensational sire line. Algorithms at Claiborne Farm.
Make NYRA Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NYRA Bets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NYRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NYRA Bets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NYRABets.com.
Back on Saratoga Live here on Fox Sports 2 and MSG Plus. Want to remind everybody about the Saratoga Showdown continuing this afternoon. A free contest using mythical money to win real prizes like 50,000 NYRA Bets points, an equivalent to $50 in your NYRA Bets account, or I should say also an entry into a prize package for the 2018 Belmont Stakes valued at over $2,000. Go to SaratogaShowdown.com or NYRA.com to get involved and get initiated to wagering on the races. We're getting set for race 7 coming up here. Post parade here coming up shortly. Still to purge for Chad Brown, the one who was favored at 6-5 on the board. Awesome Boss, of course, right next door. That is the 2 for Kenny McPeak. Gabby coming out of a grade 3 in only 2 turf starts, and with the first 2 starts of her career. Big issue with her, though, and she may play a factor with the favorite as well. She has big-time issues getting out of the gate. She might cause problems for the 1.
She could. Now, the thing with her, though, Greg, is that she did show a little bit more speed when she started her career off when they stretched her out going 2 turns on the turf. So last time out, she did not show any speed early because she got bumped out of the gate. But I don't think she's going to be as far back as we saw her last time. She can't be in order to be effective here.
Meanwhile, next door, the 3, Too Hot Betty for Abigail Adsit. 2 back. Breaks her maiden, and then she didn't run all that bad against Initiated 45-1 last start.
Well, if you think about it, and the way the race sets up here today, I'd prefer her than Initiate because she was compromised by that slow pace that Initiate set.
So 12-1, maybe a long shot to consider. Here comes our post parade. And we start off with the favorite here is Tepurge for Chad Brown, Gainesway Stable with Jose Ortiz aboard.
Coming off a little bit of a layoff since the beginning of April, but has a great post and the credentials in order to afford that favoritism at 6-5.
Peter Callahan owns Awesome Boss, trained by Kenny McPeak. It's Robbie Alvarado in the irons.
Comes off a near 5-month layoff, and it's really her turf races that are interesting, as the first 2 times she ran the turf, she met very tough fields and ran well as a 2-year-old.
Too Hot Betty, she's on the board here at 12-1 for Abigail Adsit, and Angel Arroyo rides.
She may not be good enough to win, but she'll get more pace than she got last time out today.
Mark Cassey trains the 4 Summer Luck for Gary Barber. It's Javier Castellano back in the irons.
You don't have to be a mind reader to know with a clean break that Javier Castellano plans to center the front and take her as far as they can.
I can't say it near as good as track announcer Larry Colmis. Ramane Sempre Forte, trained by Bruce Brown. Julian Leperoux rides.
You did well, Greg. And first off, the claim for Bruce Brown will need that pace to come back to her today.
6 and 7 are scratched. Here's the 8. Never Grow Old. Ricardo Santana Jr., trained by Wesley Ward for the Elkstone Group.
The rank's outsider in this race, so she can handle the distance, but she may not be fast enough.
And Initiate, she just missed by a nose last start after leading the way. Trained by Shug Bagehi, Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard.
She's had a couple of tough beats in 2 of her last 3 races, but she was able to dictate in both of them and still failed to get the job done.
7 minutes to post here in the 7th coming up. Paul LaDuca, how are you going to play this race?
Well, I thought there's a chance that you could maybe beat the 1 in here, because I just think that I know that the 1 is coming out of loaded races. My worry is it's a Chad Brown runner that's been training at Monmouth. So why has this horse been training here? Obviously, maybe been jogging here. So I'll take a shot with the 4. I do think it's a 2-horse race. I'm not a fan of the 10. I even think that, I know a lot of you guys think that maybe the 4 takes the initiative. I even think the 4 can lay off the 10 and outfinish that horse. I'm not really worried about that. I'm worried about Chad Brown runner. I'll do 20 to win on the 4.
I'm going to disagree. I think if you like the 4, you better hope she's in front. But we'll see. I'm rooting for her now because you've got her.
Well, here's my thing. If you look at the 1-3 back, you got Talake, and here's the 2 Awesome Boss. Now, this is the one you want to get to, who was pretty good in the Bourbonnette Oaks, you know, made a huge move from way back.
Here's my problem. I wish she ran last in the Bourbonnette Oaks because I wouldn't bet her off a synthetic race and I wouldn't bet her off a dirt race. I would bet her off her turf races because her first 2 races were on the turf. And people might want to argue maybe they went long on the turf because they wanted to go long with her in general. But why then did they debut her on turf at Belmont?
That's true.
And I think you look at those races, Lowe won her first race. She's a stakes quality horse for Christophe Clement.
Yeah.
We know Coast and Dream Dancing are stakes quality horses that beat her in her second start, and she acquitted herself just fine. And I think that these races, like the Bourbonnette Oaks and the dirt races, Paul, I think they've actually indicated her form has improved, and now I just feel like she's on the right surface. The problem is because she finished second in a greatest stake, people are betting her off that race. Now, maybe they're right, but I want to bet her off at other races.
Yeah, you make some good points, and when the Oaklawn races played well, and one thing you could always take from this horse, decent race at Churchill, decent race at Oaklawn, decent race at Turfway. So like surfaces, ships, you're right. I think that's a big key. Now we're on the 3-horse here, Too Hot Betty. You can argue not that bad last time out from a wide slot chasing Initiate.
No, I don't disagree. She actually didn't run that badly last time. And if you like Initiate here, who's 3-1, you should at least be looking at her. I mean, granted, Initiate sort of did more running in that race, and a length and 3/4 on the turf is a relatively substantial distance. But she's 12-1, and you could make an argument that she's at least a player for a minor award.
I'm with you. I would take her over Initiate because Initiate, to me, Gabby, had the race won last time. You could at least say Too Hot Betty was the first time around 2 turns that she basically, broke her maiden at Aqueduct and then came back and did not run that bad off the layoff.
Exactly. Once they started to stretch her out in distance, she started to put everything together. Now, her maiden claiming event that she won at 24-1, she's definitely going to have to improve off of that. But I agree. Out of that race, Initiate had everything go her way. She's not going to have the same dynamic today, and Too Hot Betty could definitely capitalize on that as we will transition to the 5. And first off, the claim for Bruce Brown. This filly is going to need a lot to go her way. And if you look at her previous performances, she has been pace compromised in the past. I thought she was pace compromised in that race at Belmont back on the 3rd of June behind Volatility Index, who had everything go her way. But at the same token, she has gotten good paces to run into on several occasions, and she just hasn't managed to put it all together yet.
I want to disagree a little bit. I don't think she's had good paces to run at. I think she stunk last time. I will agree with that. On the other hand, Flatter Me Fabulous wired the field, so maybe she was compromised there, but I would actually argue she was habitually compromised by slow paces. The pace on May 10th was excruciating. The pace on June 3rd was excruciatingly slow. The pace on June 29th is excruciatingly slow. Now, the problem is I feel like she should have run better last time out. I think it was a good claim. I just don't know if she's good enough to beat these
I'll tell you
horses.
my argument about this horse. Both wins are over a wet surface, and the horse should be on dirt. And if the horse is on turf, the horse actually has an even running style. They should start jumping the horse. She's got no shot here.
The argument against you're saying is that she's run well enough on turf. I think it's an interesting point you make because when she broke her maiden, wet track or not at Aqueduct, she ran that 71 by her second time out. So, Paul, if you and I had claimed for 35, we would have gone back in the dirt. I think that's an interesting point, actually.
Well, I mean, look at her dirt races. They're 20 times better.
Yeah, no, I like that. It's interesting.
She's faced some good ones. Penn Jade Volatility Index with trouble in those races. I don't know if she's good enough to win, but maybe get a piece of the race. We'll find out. Trainer of the two, of course, is Kenny McPeak. That is Awesome Boss. He's with Maggie right now.
Yeah, Greg, Awesome Boss here for Kenny. She comes in off of a second place finish in a grade 3. That was over the synthetic, down at Turfway Park, Kenny, and coming off a bit of a layoff. Have you always thought that she's more intended for the turf here?
Well, she was a little bit tired at the end of the spring, and she needed some weight. She needed a little freshening. We took her over to my farm, gave her all that. But you know, it's kind of a tough call because if I run her either than, I've got to run her on the dirt. I've got to run her 1 1/8 miles. I'm not sure she's a 1 1/8 mile type filly, especially over this heavier racetrack. Felt like, okay, that's a good time to, let's give her a turf run. She ran well on the poly track at Turfway. Poly tracks horses tend to be real similar and run well on the grass, and it seemed to be a good spot for her.
Well, you started her career off on the turf. Was that kind of intentional, or was that just the way races were coming up when she was a 2-year-old?
Well, it depends on timing. Sometimes it's really hard to find a distance race for a 2-year-old filly, especially dirt. Like here, we're not going to get it beyond what a 7/8 race on the dirt for any of our babies, and you really run grass, so you don't run at all.
Well, Kenny, best of luck here returning to the turf.
Thanks.
All right, guys, we'll see what Awesome Boss does here on the Mile 3/16 over the Saratoga Turf Course.
Maggie, thanks. And again, with the two, keep your eyes on the start. She historically has big-time problems getting out of the gate.
And, well, I would say that the 1 3/16 on the turf might at least be a little bit more forgiving. But I kind of agree with Andy about her last race. I really think she saved ground the entire way, and I think she was kind of second by default, but she definitely could improve off of her turf races.
It's okay.
And Andy, of course, 1 3/16 here coming up, a long, long run into that first turn. So in terms of running style in this race, the way it's configured, how does it work out here for Tepurge?
Well, it probably makes it a much more even race, bring it up, because the 10 has a long time to get in and save ground. You don't hit the turn quickly. And I think one thing to consider is that first quarter. If they go under 24, a lot of times people would say, oh, it's a distance race, that's really fast. Keep in mind it's down a straightaway.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Actually it figures to be faster. It's an odd distance, 1 3/16. I mean, the only really major race in the entire country that's run at this distance is the Preakness Stakes, the second jewel of the Triple Crown.
How aggressive will Irad Ortiz Jr. be aboard Initiate? She does not appear to be as quick as the 4 Summer Luck, but the only way she appears to be able to win is on the front end. So it's going to be interesting to see what the 10 and 4 do early on here in this race. It is Tepurge, the 1 for Chad Brown. 8-5 solid favorite. She has been favored throughout the wagering. Jose Ortiz hopping aboard for the first time, and Castellano, who had been her regular rider, aboard Summer Luck instead here, who should be out in front. We'll send it upstairs for the call of race 7 to the voice of the Triple Crown, Larry Colmus.
2 left to load here. Never Grow Old moving into the gate will be followed by Initiate. 7-5 odds on Tepurge, the current favorite, as Never Grow Old goes in. Here's Initiate and Irad Ortiz Jr. to come up to the outside stall and complete the line. Hesitates just a bit. Does Initiate. And now steps forward and in. They're all in line. Now Initiate's backed out. Now she's in, ready for a start. They're off. Summer Luck comes out well. On the far outside, Initiate. Remani Sempre Forte and Tap Berger taken back to run in fourth early on. And then it's Awesome Boss, Never Grow Old to the outside, and Too Hot Betty is last as Initiate takes charge early. Initiate to the front. Crossing over to the inside with the lead over Summer Luck and Remani Sempre Forte, who is third on the outside, moving into the turn. And it's Tap Berger in fourth, followed by Awesome Boss, and on the far outside, Never Grow Old. The trailer is Too Hot Betty, 23 flat. The opening quarter mile as they make their way onto the backstretch, going along at a decent pace here. Initiate, the leader by a neck. Remani Sempre Forte on the outside, second by 2.5. Summer Luck is third as they enter the backstretch. Tap Berger, the favorite, is fourth, some 6 lengths off the lead as they continue through a 46.94 half mile. The Never Grow Old on the outside of Too Hot Betty. Awesome Boss is last of them all. So it's Initiate by a head up the backstretch. Remani Sempre Forte on the outside, second. Summer Luck 2.5 lengths off of them. Tap Berger is down on the inside of Never Grow Old, racing for the far turn. Then it's Too Hot Betty. Awesome Boss, 3/4 is solid, 110.77. Around the far turn, Initiate continues to lead. Remani Sempre Forte under a ride. 2 lengths back, Summer Luck begins to roll. And Jose Ortiz saving ground with Tap Berger. Now going to swing to the outside, and Tap Berger comes charging up after Initiate as they come into the final furlong. Summer Luck is third. Awesome Boss has moved up to fourth. It is Tap Berger, a furlong to run. Summer Luck runs at her from the outside. Initiate is third. Tap Berger and Summer Luck 1-2 down to the wire. It will be Tap Berger to win it a length and a half to Summer Luck. And then it was Initiate holding on to third over Awesome Boss in 1 minute 52.01 seconds.
Tap Berger, Chad Brown reties Todd Pletcher for the top trainer here at the meet with the victory here. And you got to wonder if the instructions were with Summer Luck for Javier Castellano to try and sit off the pace today.
It was very bizarre because honestly, she broke pretty nicely coming out of the gate, and then we saw Javier Castellano on Summer Luck really kind of strangling her to take back from off of the pace as we saw Initiate and Rimsa Sempre Forte also go to the lead there. It was a perfect setup for Tapurge, who just kind of waited patiently and went on. And Summer Luck, she tried to rally from off of the pace, but that's not really a running style. She just might have been a little bit better off going into the lead here. What do you think, guys?
Well, I think they were going fast enough that maybe she didn't have much choice. At the end of the day, the race was won by Jose Ortiz at the quarter pole as we take a look at the start here. And I don't think that Javier was trying to rate. He took her back. They both went. We'll see. But I want to comment on that turn. Jose Ortiz cut the corner. Paul and I were watching, and he sensed that in all likelihood the 5 would tire from pressing, and he'd be able to slip through. And I think that was the difference maker.
Yeah, you know, I think the 5 surprised Javier a tiny bit. But when you look at this, I thought I hit the nail on the head when I was talking about it earlier. I really felt like that he was going to let Initiate go. Because if you watch the replays, Lido ran him down or Lido ran him down, and I just think that the Cassie camp was not worried that Summer Luck was going to go by. But you know what they should have been worried about was that Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard the other horse, Jose Ortiz, was about to split you. I think Castellano thought he had this race won, guys, because on the far turn he was very confident, Greg, but when Jose split him, I still think that Castellano thought he had horse, but that's the difference of the Ortiz brothers right now.
Well, made a big run here, swooping to the outside. But if we go back to this race, and Gabby and I were just looking off screen, you see Javier, it looks like intentionally taking back early on.
For sure. And he's a Hall of Fame jockey. I'm not going to critique this too much, but when you get a filly who has a lot of natural speed and you take her out of that, she clearly wanted to go to the lead going into the first turn. He kind of took her out of momentum to get into that position and really had her under a tight hold going into that first turn and saying, no, you guys have it. And maybe it turns out that he didn't. It was better that she didn't go to the lead as Initiate faded and so did the 5. But I just thought it was a very curious move going into the first turn.
improving. How fast do you think that she could have realistically gone? They went 23 flat the first quarter.
Well, bottom line, her best running style has been on the front end, and clearly Javier took up. But credit to Irad Ortiz Jr. trying to steal the race on the front end. Does not work out in the end. Tires late, and Tapper J comes and gets everybody here from off the pace. 1-4-10-2 to close things out in the 7th. We're going to take a break. We'll be back to Union Avenue and clip the coupon Annie coming up next when we return.
Summer of Dreams 4 is back at Foxwoods, and we've got guaranteed millions in cash and prizes up for grabs. Sign up free for Foxwoods Rewards and earn points playing our World Series of Poker and the Big Dream Slot Tournament with Mario Lopez. Also, try our new skill-based slots. Then, use your points for summer wonders like Lobster Madness, golf at the Lake of Isles, and shop the region's only indoor Tanger outlets. Foxwoods Resort Casino, the wonder of it all. Find your wonder now at foxwoods.com.
Back on Saratoga Live here on Fox Sports 2 and headed into the winner's circle. I'll go with Larry Colmus. Tapper J gets the win here. $5.50 for the win. Jose Ortiz the victory. Daughter of Tappet the win. And Chad Brown now retied with Todd Pletcher atop the trainer standings. And he is with Maggie in the winner's circle.
And first I got to see if Chad realizes you're tied.
I'm not watching anymore. I got enough to do. I haven't been running much this week. Our only runner this week, but I made it count.
Yes, you did. Tapper J coming in off of a layoff, Chad. And we were talking, she was prepared down at Monmouth. Talk a little bit about your string down there.
Yeah, I have a string down there. Dermot Magner, my assistant's doing a really good job. This filly had a splint injury in the spring and then a little rehab, so we sent her down there, and he did a terrific job. Sent her up looking great, and she ran really well considering layoff.
And bringing her back, going a distance she hasn't traveled in the past. You seem to be very, very akin and good at doing that and bringing horses back off layoffs to do such a thing.
I learned from the master, and I'd like to think I learned a couple things from him, Mr. Frankel. And perfect example right here. Laid out a plan, and she hit every work that she was supposed to and fired big today.
Did he teach you about taking turf horses and running them in grade ones on the dirt for the first time? Talk a little bit about New Money Honey and the Alabama this Saturday.
Yeah, he had plenty of those that he did well with. I haven't done it that much. This is a filly I always thought about running her on the dirt since she was 2, just waiting for the right opportunity. And now seems the time. You know, she's already won a couple grade ones on the turf, and she seems to be training fabulous over the main track at Saratoga. She trained well over it last year as a 2-year-old, and the 1.25 mile distance would really suit her.
She's one of 2 that have won over the distance. Any concern about the inside post, given it's her first start on dirt?
Yeah, you always worry about the kickback a little bit, but then again, going 1.25 miles, she should save all the ground. So, you know, she's a pro. She's seen a lot of stuff now, having run the Breeders' Cup and shipped around and been in some difficult situations. So I'm confident she can handle it.
All right, Chad, congratulations here with Tapperget, and good luck with New Money Honey.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Maggie, thanks. Of course, the master he was referring to, the late, great Bobby Frankel, one of the best to ever do it as a trainer. He was a longtime assistant to Bobby Frankel, and of course, New Money Honey. It is a weird move. She was a Breeders' Cup winner as a 2-year-old. She is the leader of the division here in North America as a 3-year-old, and now all of a sudden they say, let's switch it all up and try her on dirt. So just one of the many intriguing storylines for this weekend's Alabama with New Money Honey. NYRA Bet's late pick 5 is a must play. If you are the only winning ticket, a guaranteed minimum payout of $150,000. On Saturdays, that is bumped up to $300,000, but you must play through NYRABets.com to take advantage of that. And the only way to play it outside the state of New York is with NYRA Bets. Let's take a look back at how the NYRA Bets Late Pick 5 began back in the 5th race. New York bred maiden special weight kicked things off.
And he had experience underneath of his belt. It was his 2nd start, and that seemed to really help him get to the wire there.
That was looking ready for Bruce Levine, 2nd time out in a field that had a lot of first-time starters. 2nd leg of that NYRA Bets Late Pick 5. Entry-level allowance here at 6 furlongs, and this came down to a photo finish.
This was a big race for Beasley. We hadn't seen Beasley since the Tampa Bay Derby in early March. He was turning back in distance for Mark Hennig as well. We could hear a thing or two from him moving forward.
You're telling me Beasley won that race? I still can't believe it. It was incredible. That was Junior Alvarado and Mark Hennig there. So that's how this NYRA Bets Late Pick 5 following us has gone so far. Total pool, $106,000 with 2 legs still remaining. And, of course, we could still get some fireworks on the way. The Union Avenue is next. A crucial part of any thoroughbred being ready to run their best in the afternoon is their morning workouts, managing them effectively, getting what's specifically needed out of each and every work. That game plan is carried out by the exercise rider. Here's another edition of I Am.
I am Lena L'Oreal. I am an exercise rider. In my first set, I'll get on the horse and we ride around the shadow until Shug gives us our instructions. We'll go to the track. And then you gallop between 1 mile to 1.5 miles, depending on the horse's schedule. Sometimes too, you just walk, and you walk tack in the shed row. Then we stay on him for 40 minutes, just walking around the shed row. Otherwise, you can jog, just jog the wrong way, usually. And then when we do workouts, then we have a different routine. So it depends on where the horse is on its racing schedule. And when we come back, we do the same thing. We'll give him a couple of turns in the shed row. And then when I take the tack off, I take my tack to the next horse. The groom is ready, and I'll put the tack on and bring the horse out, and then I'll get right on it. The most talented horses I've ridden, I would say, is Personal Ensign, that retired undefeated, and Lure. He's also, and they both in the Hall of Fame. Lure was a lot of fun because he loved his job, he knew he was good, and he was just very, very fast. It's very exciting. It's never boring. It's always something going on. Every set is different, every horse is different, So I think I like that it's never the monotony of having just a job. Because I'm a mother too, so I have to take care of that part. It's not really a job, it's a lifestyle. We work 7 days a week, so we all get up early and we work, and we're a real racetrack family. My husband is an assistant trainer for Christophe Clement. My daughter is working as a media representative for J.J. Toner Stables, and she does his Facebook page. And it's sort of funny that we compete against each other. It's just more horses to cheer for. I think if my parents thought I was going to stay with it, they would not have let me do it. They thought I was going to do it for a couple of years, outgrow it, and then get a real job. But I'm still here, and I still love it.
Well, my partner here actually has firsthand experience as an exercise rider. There's no money being wagered in the mornings. There's no big crowds on hand. But there's still pressure, isn't there?
There absolutely is. And I can't stress enough how important a good exercise rider is, because it's one thing for a trainer to watch a horse gallop or watch a horse breeze in the mornings, but to be able to give them information from being on their back is just of the utmost importance. And yeah, it's a little bit of pressure to get out there, especially when you have to get on a tough one and you know it's a tough one.
We're going to take a break in the action. Our feature race still to come, but we're going to talk plenty more Alabama. In 2011, Royal Delta delivered a second Alabama win to Bill Mott. She'd go on to win the Breeders' Cup Distaff later that year. Can his duo of Lockdown and Elate deliver a third win for the Hall of Famer? We'll discuss.
Undefeated in sprint competition, Eclipse champion Run Happy captured 3 Grade 1 victories and set blistering speed records at both Keeneland and Saratoga. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he dominated the world's fastest runners, going 6 furlongs in a record-breaking 108 and change. The only horse nominated for 3 Eclipse Awards, Run Happy was crowned champion male sprinter, all the while racing 100% drug-free. Champion, millionaire, record breaker, Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
And they're off. NYRA Bets Pick 5 is now available exclusively online at NYRABets.com. Bet the NYRA Bets Pick 5 every race day with a 15% takeout on the last 5 races on the card from the country's best racing at Belmont and Saratoga. Find it nationwide on NYRABets.com right in the Bet Type drop-down menu or at any NYRA track or New York OTB location. NYRA Bets Pick 5, racing's best bet.
Back on Saratoga Live with the Union Avenue coming up. We thought we'd take you on a little stroll of Union Avenue, listed on the U.S. National Register of Historic Places. Historic District includes Congress Park, Victorian homes, some of which built in the second half of the 19th century. And of course, you'll wind up at Saratoga Race Course. Yado, of course, there as well. It's all part of Union Avenue and a walk that I take every single morning to the racetrack.
Looks like my commute. Pretty nice walk there.
Good way to just kind of clear your head.
Oh, yeah.
Think about who you like for the races coming up. The Union Avenue is our feature race. It is up next. 6.5 furlongs for fillies and mares 3 and up. Hot City Girl was the defending champ. She would have been probably the primary speed in the race too. She was scratched and she has been retired. She is moving on to her next career coming up for trainer Linda Rice and Lady Sheila Stable. She is off to be retired to Addition Farm. Scratched from the Union Avenue and retired as a broodmare. She will join her half-sister there, La Verdad, as a broodmare.
That's pretty neat. And Hot City Girl, she's, you know, had a tremendous career, and just happy to see her go to obviously a good home and retire sound. And Lady Sheila, Linda Rice, pretty cool horse to follow throughout her career.
Well, with her out, what does that mean for the rest of this group here? Probably for K-Zone, loving that Hot City Girl's not in the mix, because that is who beat her in this race last year when she was the favorite, Hot City Girl.
Exactly, and without the presence of Hot City Girl, it takes a little bit of pace out of here. But K-Zone, last year, if she was, my concern with her, and Paul, you can chime in on this, I just don't think that she's been in the form this year in her 3 starts and what we saw from her last year.
Yeah, you know what? I think we're all in agreement when it comes to that. And the reason why is she got steppy a little bit for me in her July race. We're going to show it to you right now. Now, she does have a good race here at Saratoga and Union Avenue. She was second. She's supposed to go by these horses right here. She really is. And she's on the wrong lead. I just don't know if everything's right. You look at her better races, Andy. She goes by on sloppier racetracks. I think the drier the racetrack, not that good for her, even though her form says it.
I think that she's showing the classic signs of a filly or mare, usually a mare. When they get older, they lose that competitive edge. We saw it earlier this summer in a stake race with a horse named Suffused for Bill Mott.
Yes.
She had shown those signs. They just lacked the killer instinct. Even the race against the Better Roses, I don't think anybody here is suggesting she should have beaten By the Moon, but she was right there on a very tepid pace, and she went backwards, not forwards. That's not the good K-Zone. The good K-Zone is really actually a quality stakes horse. She's not impossible, but I just think K-Zone at a short price is a good bet against.
No, you're right. And if you look at the form, she's really 0 for 9 the last 2 years without the 2 wins over a sloppy racetrack. So
she's always been better in a sloppy track. That is absolutely correct. So the question becomes, what do you do if you're trying to beat her? Now, the public is saying it's very simple. Clip the Coupon Annie. Now, Clip the Coupon Annie and Pico Uno are very close in price looking at doubles. Clip the Coupon Annie needs to break sharply today, Paul.
Yeah, it was an awful start to the Dancing Renee, and this maybe put her to the sideline after this. And listen, she's a micropole homebred here. She was very, very sharp. I thought she ran a good little distaff, and there's the start. She had no chance in this race at the beginning. She gets sort of rushed up into it. Now, who benefits the most out of this? It's Wonderment right there to the outside of her, the 4. But then again, I start looking at Wonderment in this race, and I'm wondering, oh, you know what? Might get the same setup here, right? Wonderment on the complete outside is just going to end up going by these horses. And I like that they made her go to the sidelines off her career best effort. As you can see now, Clip the Coupon Annie, she basically just mailed it in because she needs it her own way.
Yeah, I think Wonderment's a horse because she's a generous price. I'm happy to bet back off that. Maybe she improved on wet tracks, and she had a big trip, 2 back in the critical eye. One we actually talked about on Belmont Park Live at the time. But she's a horse that showed some promise at 2 and 3, and maybe she's just putting it together. A lot going on in this race, Maggie.
There is, and I want to talk a little bit about the horses coming out of the Dancing Renee. That race was the last race that we ran that day due to a kind of freak thunderstorm that we had at Belmont. The surfaces were open, so the rain went directly through the surface of the main track, and to me, I remember Johnny V coming back in off a Clip the Coupon Andy and saying she absolutely loathed it. She did not feel quite right over that surface, and it was just obviously not the same sloppy track that she encountered down at Pimlico. Now, she is off since that Dancing Renee. She does return wearing front bandages here, but all of that aside, physically, I think she looks 10 times better than what she did going into that dance in Renee. She's put on some weight. Physically, she looks great to me here as opposed to any other time that I've seen her in the past. So we'll see. I'm a little bit concerned about the addition of those front bandages, but at least she's back on a dry track. Moving on to number 6, Court Dancer, and a bit of a, at least, attitude reversal for Court Dancer. Last time I saw her, which was June 17th, I obviously was not there at Monmouth for the regret, but she's very, very wound up that day for the Dance Renee as well, and she almost ran her race prior to going in the gates. Today, she's been accompanied by the pony here for Jason Service, and she's very calm and cool, which is a good thing considering the environment here at Saratoga can easily set a horse off more so than what they encounter at Belmont. So I think that's a good sign for Court Dancer, as she is likely, now there is some speed in here, but she is pretty fast here, Greg.
She is, talking about the 6. Yeah, she may be the speed of the speed here in this group. She's on the board at 7-1. As you see riders getting a leg up here. There's Court Dancer, 6-year-old mare by Warchant, who is a 2-time winner at Saratoga.
And it's interesting because when in the Dancing Renee, she obviously managed to secure the lead when Clip the Coupon Annie did not break. So she was helped by that. But in the regret, watching that replay, Paco Lopez stood up a little bit before the wire. Not to say that she was going to win, but there is the 9 Pico Uno, who I actually really like in this race, Greg. She's not a mile type of horse, and that's where we saw her in the sloppy sealed track and the critical eye. But on the turn back, I really think that she's going to sit a perfect trip behind the speed. This is taking a look at Pico Uno. She is the number 1 horse, and we see My 4 Chicks just in front of her, another filly that she'll have to go against here today. But I thought the pace held together pretty well in here as we see those two kind of dueling out on the front end, and she just went right by them. So I thought that that was really encouraging, and she's enhanced today by the pace scenario.
She's tactical, too. She has shown during that 4-race win streak that she could sit closer to the pace, or as in that scenario, sit off a little more and win, guys.
No, she's a talented horse, and you know, once again, it gets, to me at least, if you're against K-Zone like I am, and a lot of the public right now, you have to use her. One thing, though, I was talking about this with both Paul and Gabby before, she only beat My 4 Chicks by a length and a quarter in that race, and she had a perfect trip, and she was out in the middle of the racetrack, and that was the best place to be. If you're considering her at 7-2, shouldn't you at least be giving a look at My 4 Chicks at 15-1, or then maybe you shouldn't love Pico Uno?
I'm going to give you this one that's going to really mess you up. I'm going to use My 4 Chicks in the exactas and the trifectas because the horse likes the racetrack, and I don't like Pico Uno. How about that? Does that didn't make any sense?
I'm not sure what makes sense around here anymore.
Post Parade coming up. It's brought to you by OCD Pellets, celebrating their 10th anniversary of supporting the equine industry with their 2-in-1 bone and joint supplement. For more information, visit OCDpellets.com. That is a look at K-Zone for Mark Keller. Javier Castellano aboard for Robert Robato.
She's probably the most accomplished member of this field. The question is whether or not her best races are in front of her or behind her.
Absolutely, trained by Charlie Baker, Newman Racing, and Joe Bravo.
She's definitely a horse that can be forwardly placed in this race. She might be a bit better on a wet track.
Gabrielle Farm sends out Frosty Margarita. She actually broke her maiden here. She's trained by Rudy Rodriguez with Manny Franco.
I was at Monmouth last time out. Now back in against New York Breds. I think has a long shot. They put blinkers on this filly. She's gotten a little bit better.
Clip the Coupon Annie, sent out by Rapoli Stable, trained by Todd Pletcher. John Velasquez will ride.
If she can get good position against the 6 Court Dancer, she could be very tough to catch in here.
And here is the speedy Court Dancer who broke her maiden here by 7.5 lengths. Jason Service trainee, and Joel Rosario rides.
Andy makes a good point. Is Court Dancer in here to win this race or to bug the 5 for her stablemate, the 9 in here, Pico Uno?
Walking Out Thoroughbred sends out Wonderment with Dylan Davis, trained by Kenny McPeak.
She's a horse who may be putting it together at the right time.
And My 4 Chicks, the 8, will have Jose Lezcano aboard for Rich Schosberg, owned by Clear Star Stable.
Not a horse to me that can win this race, but I think at a horse at that big a price that could hit the number here, 2nd or 3rd.
Here's Pico Uno for Kennesaw Mountain Racing, trained by Jason Service, Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard.
The wise guy horse who didn't want the slop in a mile last time. Before that, won 4 straight.
And if Paul likes a horse for course, how about 2 for 2 here? She won her first 2 starts of her career here, including a stakes race, the Seeking the Ante. She's already Jimmy Ryerson, Kendrick Carmouche, and Nirvana Stables.
Yeah, after she won those 2 races, she was 3rd in the Frisette. She just has not gotten any better. 13-1, and she's going to have to improve off that win last time.
The Union Avenue, our feature race, is up next. Is Annie ready to roll? We are about to find out. 5 for 7 in her career. It's her Saratoga debut next.
Eclipse Award winner Blaine retired to stud with more than $4.3 million in earnings, including a historic victory over Zenyatta in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Now he's making a name for himself as an internationally successful stallion. In 2017, his top runners include stakes winner No Fault of Mine, Japanese star Resonator, and classic winner Singa, the dominant victor of this year's Grade 1 French Oaks, Blaine at Claiborne Farm.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new NYRA Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish from a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. NYRA Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download NYRA Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
Back on Saratoga Live, we're getting set for our feature race. Coming up, the Union Avenue. 6.5 furlongs for fillies and mares, 3 and up. Every day of the Saratoga meet, NYRA Bet's offering a 10% winner's bonus on your trifecta bet on a selected stakes. Today, use your mobile device to hit the trifecta in the Union Avenue, and you get that 10% winner's bonus in your account. See the full schedule and bet Saratoga Racing at NYRABets.com. 4 minutes to post here in our feature. And standing by with the connections of the 3, absolutely. Let's go to Maggie.
Yes, joined by the Newman brothers. We have Richard and Adam here on either side of me. Richard, let's talk a little bit about Absolutely. She's 22-1. All of us are a little bit surprised about that.
I'm a little surprised she's 22-1. I mean, this race came up very, very tough. I mean, and truthfully, out of the 9, almost anybody can win it. We were a little ambitious earlier in the meet, and we tried some tough fillies, but I mean, I think we fit here, and I think 23-1 is a more than fair price.
Will you be betting?
No, I'm superstitious. I don't bet.
Fair enough. I can relate as well. And Adam, as I got to get a little bit closer to you. Yeah, we got to snuggle up here. We're very friendly, truth be told. But Adam, you guys are maybe, as far as percentages are concerned, as far as ownership, going in from last year, you were 4 from 7. You're 2 from 4 this year. Do you point your horses to this meet?
Us personally, I mean, obviously everybody wants to do well in Saratoga. We're certainly not alone there. As it happens, we partnered up with Charlie Baker and one Tom Morley not too long ago, and we've sort of just rode along with their success. Charlie in particular has been utterly spectacular up here, and you know, as I said, we're just happy to be along and you know, under his wing, so to speak. He has been great. We pretty much just leave it to him as far as the training and the spotting goes. And yeah, 23-1 here is certainly not expected. But if he feels we belong here, then we're happy to be here and confident and just hoping for the best.
Super Charlie Baker fan. And Richard, real quick, I know you're trying something different next week, jumpers.
Yes, yes. My brother and I purchased a jumper. Actually, we claimed him here 2 years ago, and which is not often done as far as jumpers go. And he's the only one we have right now. And we ran third the first week in the Smithwick, and we're going to give it a go in the Turf Riders next week, which was real exciting.
All right, well, good luck here in the Union Avenue as well as the Turf Riders, guys.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
All right, Greg, back to you.
Maggie, thank you. Absolutely the 322-1 on the board, Gabby. She does possess some speed, but where do you think she fits in the pace scenario here? Certainly Court Dancer, the 6, looks like she may be quicker, and even Clip the Coupon Annie, the 5, has pace.
Well, the pace might be a little bit more forgiving than it was in the Shine again at 7/8 last time out. But one thing about Absolutely, she knows how to win.
Going to reset the show right now. Welcome to Saratoga Live. For those just joining us, welcome. Thanks for joining us on Altitude Networks and other networks across the country. You're watching the premier race meets in all the country. It's horse racing's Field of Dreams, and we have our feature race coming up on this Thursday afternoon. The Union Avenue, 6.5 furlongs here. For fillies and mares 3 and up, it's presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. You can play along from home as we show you these races also by going to NYRABets.com. When you bet 200, you will get 200 in your account. Use the promo code PICK5 to take advantage of that, and you can get signed up and started all across the country. Greg Wolf, Gabby Gaudet, Paul LaDuca, Andy Serling, Maggie Wolfendale with you in our feature race. Gabby coming up here. It is K-Zone from the inside post here. Still the one to beat on the board at 2-1.
And exactly. She is one that she has been going against tougher company so far this year, obviously facing By the Moon and the Bed of Roses and the Vagrancy. But, Greg, she should have won last time out. The only thing that's working for her is that there seems to be a lot of pace in here, which will help her closing running style.
Well, Andy, we see you like wonderment here in this spot, and the last 2 races a hard gauge because they both came on sloppy tracks.
No, I agree. She's possibly one of these last time was the time horses, but the truth is she's 11-1 right now, so she's a fair enough price, and I'm betting that she's finally got her act together. She's a horse that showed promise at 2 and 3, that's run 2 consecutive good races. Her race 2 back is buried because of the bad trip.
Yeah, it is.
But also possible, as you noted, that it could be because the tracks were wet.
Yeah, and when you look at her other race against Highway Star in the Stallion Series, I thought she had a brutal trip there, and she was behind K-Zone the other time. They both were very wide. I like the 7-1. When I was between the 1 and the 7, I think they both get the same setup in here. You get the better price, obviously, on the 7. I put my mark on the 1, but you know, when you look at this race, is it 3, 5, 6 go to the front end in here? The 5's going to have to do a lot of dirty work in here to take this field, because I think, at least in my eyes, Gabby, the 5's got to take this field gate to wire.
She's definitely a filly that does better on the lead, and you know, I go back and forth between her because she won on a sloppy sealed surface 2 starts back in the ski pad at Pimlico. Last time out, she pretty much stumbled coming out of the gate, didn't secure that, but was very lethargic after that. So, Greg, yes, I agree with you. She's very one-dimensional, and are you willing to take short price on a horse that is one-dimensional that needs everything to go her way?
But she's not one-dimensional. She's
you
rated.
don't think so?
She's rated. She rated in her debut. She rated 2 back. She stalked the pace 3 back. I think the problem is she's drawn inside of Court Dancer. That's the problematic
That could be
thing.
the problem.
Can she let Court Dancer go and sit outside of her comfortably without the field bunching? But I don't think it's fair to say she's one-dimensional. She has 1 rating.
Well, you know, when she won rating the first time, she got left. I'll give you the race at the distaff. I thought she was okay that day. Highway Star's a nice runner. I mean, just let's be honest. She's a real deal. So she might have to rate. Absolutely. I'm in agreement with the guys downstairs and the guys that own the horse. If you look at her record, a lot of these horses have great records on a wet track. She does too. She's got a solid record over a dry racetrack, and you can argue it's just as good as some of the others in here.
Well, about to load up. There is K-Zone. She remains the one to beat. She got beat in this race, running second to Hot City Girl, who again was scratched. She's been retired and off to the farm to become a broodmare. Is it K-Zone's race now to win? We will find out. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of Horse Racing's Triple Crown. For the call, Larry Colmus.
Frosty Margarita and My Four Chicks take their positions in the starting gate. Clip the Coupon Annie will be next. Waiting for Pico Uno, and she's all ready to complete the line. 9-5 right now on K-Zone, the favorite. Coming out of the inside stall as She's All Ready and Kendra Carmouche move in to the outside gate. They're all in line. They're off in the Union Avenue. Pico Uno with a sharp beginning. On the far outside, She's All Ready with early speed too. Clip the Coupon Annie is close up. Court Dancer up and on the pace as well. These four take them up the backstretch. Then it's K-Zone and Wonderment to the outside. Frosty Margarita behind them. Absolutely and My Four Chicks at the back of the pack. Up the backstretch they go. She's already 3/4 of a length ahead of Clip the Coupon Annie, who's down on the inside after a 22:05 opening quarter mile. The pace is not all that fast here. She's already the leader. On top, a length and a half into the turn. Now Pico Uno takes second. Wonderment moves up on the outside into third. Clip the Coupon Annie shuffled back fourth along the inside. Absolutely is gaining ground on the outside of Court Dancer midway on the turn. K-Zone is behind horses 6 lengths off the lead. And then it's Frosty Margarita and My Four Chicks, 45.25 the half. They're into the stretch. She's already taken on by Pico Uno. On their outside, Wonderment. Absolutely down the center of the track now moves up into third. My Four Chicks has made progress along the rail. Then it's Clip the Coupon Annie. K-Zone with a lot of work to do, and Pico Uno to catch. Irad Ortiz shakes up Pico Uno. She's got the lead. K-Zone takes second late. Pico Uno rolls home in the Union Avenue. And then it was K-Zone second, followed by Absolutely and a photo between Clip the Coupon Annie and Wonderment in 1:16.57.
Well, it's actually Kendra Carmouche on She's Already stealing the front end in this race. She would weaken, and it was all Pico Uno in the end. She's now won 5 of her last 6 starts.
I think people sometimes won't credit Irad Ortiz enough because he gets a lot of good mounts and he wins a lot of races, short prices. But this is a good example of why he's been so plugged in this meet. He made sure that he had Pico Uno in the game. He saw they weren't really going strong inside of him, and he said, I'm going to take advantage of that situation. He is adapting to circumstances. Trainer Jason Service does a great job, and let's be honest, Pico Uno has won 5 of her last 6, and she is one nice filly. No losses on dry tracks in her last 6 starts.
You make a great point. Good call by Gabby upstairs. She liked this horse a lot. I didn't see it. I really didn't. But you make a good point. She broke sharp, and Irad put her in the race. Now, he got overlapped by the 10 on the front end, but he never is in panic mode at all. Good pick again, Gabby. This horse won for fun.
Thanks, Paul. And I did want to mention, though, the 1K Zone, because she was the favorite in here. It looked like she got into a little bit of trouble on the backstretch down on the inside, and once Javier tried to kind of get her out in the clear, it looked like Absolutely, as she was fading, blocked her momentum coming down the stretch. But hats off, absolutely, to Irad Ortiz. He put this filly in a perfect winning position. You couldn't have asked for a better trip.
She's won half of her career starts, 6 for 12 lifetime as we go back and look at the start.
And it seemed like a clean break for everybody, really. But K-Zone, we could see a whole bunch of horses from the get-go trying to vie for early position. And to be honest, Clip the Coupon Annie was in a very tough position down on the inside. Johnny, you either have to go or take back. He unfortunately had to take back. You don't want to be on the inside of a 4-way duel.
9-1, 3-7, 7-2 on Pico Uno, your winner of the Union Avenue. And Irad Ortiz Jr. teaming up with Jason Service, Kennesaw Mountain Racing. We're going to take a break in the action still ahead. New Money Honey, queen of the 3-year-old filly turf division, but can she handle dirt? We'll discuss her surprising surface switch in the Alabama next.
Make NYRA Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NYRA Bets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NYRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NYRA Bets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NYRABets.com.
How do I see New York bred performance? Like this.
Disco.
Here's New York sire Disco Partner setting a new world record in the Jaipur.
Holy mackerel.
And they perform like multiple Grade 1 winner Mind Your Biscuits.
And he's pouring it on late.
Shown here, winning the Belmont Sprint Championship. And New York breds perform in the sales ring, where this filly sold for $750,000. Look for your registered New York performer at upcoming auctions.
Summer of Dreams 4 is back at Foxwoods, and we've got guaranteed millions in cash and prizes up for grabs. Sign up free for Foxwoods Rewards and earn points playing our World Series of Poker and the Big Dream Slot Tournament with Mario Lopez. Also, try our new skill-based slots. Then, use your points for summer wonders like Lobster Madness, golf at the Lake of Isles, and shop the region's only indoor Tanger outlets. Foxwoods Resort Casino, the wonder of it all. Find your wonder now at foxwoods.com.
Back on Saratoga Live, Irad Ortiz Jr. makes the winning move on Pico Uno, winner of the Union Avenue Thursday feature here at Saratoga for the barn of Jason Service. $9.70 for the victory. K-Zone running second. Absolutely winds up third at 19-1. Let's head downstairs to the winner's circle with Maggie.
Here with winning trainer Jason Service. Pico Uno, Jason, you put her through kind of all the paces, all the steps as far as conditions. She was able to get her first stakes victory today, though.
Yeah, very exciting. Owners flew up from Georgia, and it worked out. So it was, when it comes together, it's pretty cool.
It is, and a filly that coming off of a disappointing effort, but that was going long. That was over a sloppy track. Did she kind of relish having that little bit of time in between her races?
For sure. We know we wheeled her back, just throwing the football, so hoping somebody caught it, and nobody caught it. So we took a step back, gave her some time, and it's great, terrific, worked out good.
Jason, you're having one heck of a Saratoga meet. You're upwards of 40%, and I mean, that's nothing new from you, but talk about your success here at the spa.
No offense to anybody, but you can have all them if I can get the Alabama Saturday. But no, it's been a good meet, and I got a great team. Henry, my assistant. I mean, just everything's clicking.
And how special would it be to get that Alabama win, as you alluded to?
Speechless. Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah.
Jason, I know you come from Shenandoah Downs, I think is where you grew up, and you've made quite a name for yourself throughout your career. It's certainly nice to see you here at the spa doing what you do.
Maggie, you do a great job. Thank you.
All right, Jason Service here in today's Union Avenue, Greg, all about Pico Uno.
Maggie, thanks, and will it be all about actress in the Alabama on Saturday? Jason Service will send that filly out, who's the winner of this year's Black Eyed Susan in a loaded race that we're going to talk more about in a minute here. But a nice win. He's certainly going to relish this Union Avenue victory here before he even starts thinking about the Alabama Saturday.
Everything he sends out, you have to absolutely respect. Anywhere he runs throughout the country, he just spots his horses well and makes sure that they're ready to go in the afternoon.
Time for what's trending in the game. And so much talk about this loaded field. It's got to be the Alabama loaded. Pulling for Holy Helena, but I can't ignore New Money Honey or Elate as well. That's from Christina Zurich. And this from @Shalou Ann. So excited for New Money Honey and Javier Castellano in the Alabama Stakes this weekend. Win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup. Well, there's a classic winner from Canada, a division leader making a surface switch, and a horse who's probably going to be alone on the lead. Or if she is not, what will she do? You're about to find out. Here are the contenders for this year's Alabama.
Songbird, this magnificent filly, winning the Alabama. She is a perfect 10.
Last year in the Alabama, champion Songbird proved the 3-year-old filly division was hers for the taking. And she'll be waiting in the wings for this year's group of 3-year-old fillies come Breeders' Cup. She could have plenty of talent waiting to meet that challenge. We start with Unchained Melody. She'll likely be the one to catch in front. She dominated in the Mother Goose, finding a gear no one could match. But that was at one turn and alone on the lead. If there is pressure up front, trainer Brian Lynch made sure she won't be caught off guard come post time, using a workmate and recent Belmont Stakes runner Meantime.
I wanted her to have a work where if something was to go with her, and you know, she may be the speed of the race and she may clear him, but if something was to go with her out of the gates, I wanted her to be able to relax.
Holy Helena has reeled off 3 consecutive wins, all at route distances and all progressively further than the race before. In her last race, she was dominant, beating the boys in the first leg of the Canadian Triple Crown and at the 1.25-mile distance. But her trainer knows she still has plenty to prove in the Alabama.
It's a pretty big step, I think, just the quality of the horses. But, you know, at least she's been the distance and she's, you know, but what I like about her is she seems to have, even though she's done a lot in a short period of time, she seems like she's kept her composure.
Then there's New Money Honey. She's the reigning Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf winner and the leader of the division again this year after her Grade 1 Belmont Oaks win on grass. So why the sudden surface switch? Her trainer Chad Brown says trying her on dirt has been something he's always thought of with her, and she's been training great over dirt at Saratoga. He also thinks she'll love the distance after proving herself at a 1.25 miles in her last start.
As they come down to the wire, the two of them will decide it, and it is going to be New Money Honey.
It Tis Well will look to give Jerry Hollendorfer a second consecutive Alabama after winning with Songbird last year. His filly is twice shipped out of California and is now 2 for 2 on road trips with a recent Grade 3 Delaware Oaks win.
It Tis Well, proud and fearless game. You know to an actress. It's going to be It Tis Well. It Tis Well. Actress coming late. It Tis Well.
Elate has something in her corner no one in this year's field can say. She's already run over the surface, and it was a huge effort. It took everything division leader Abel Tasman had, including some rough riding tactics from her jockey, to intimidate Elate to keep her out of the winner's circle.
She may have been, you know, as good as the other horse in the race. She got, you know, slightly impeded, you know, approaching the wire. The other horse drifted down on top of her, and you know, it was a very tight finish.
Sound like a tough enough field? We also forgot to mention Black-Eyed Susan winner Actress, Graded Stakes winner Salty, and Kentucky Oaks third-place finisher Lockdown. With one of the deepest fields in recent memory and all kinds of intriguing storylines, this year's Alabama is not to be missed.
I cannot wait for this race. This is just a tremendous field, loaded with talent, so many cool storylines, among them New Money Honey. Division leader, 3-year-old fillies on turf, now moving to dirt. And then you also have, we haven't even mentioned, oh yeah, Jerry Hollendorfer, who won this race last year with Songbird, trying to come back and win it again.
Yeah, he's had a little bit of success in the Alabama, and that was actually her It Tis Well schooling in the paddock earlier today, and she's coming out of a victory in the Delaware Oaks last time out, and a very troubled trip in the Summertime Oaks. But she's going to have to show her A game to be effective against some of these heavy hitters.
You can build your bankroll for Travers Day with NYRA Bets. This is the last Saturday to do it. Place a $50 win bet on the Grade 1 Alabama. If you do, you get a $20 credit in your account just in time for Travers Weekend. Find details of all the Saratoga promotions and bet Saratoga Racing nationwide at NYRABets.com. We're going to take a break in the action. When we come back, we'll We'll be joined by two leaders of the horse racing industry who've continued to make a difference for fans, improving the game and improving the lives of those who support it. That's when we come back on Saratoga Live.
And they're off. NYRA Bets Pick 5 is now available exclusively online at NYRABets.com. Bet the NYRA Bets Pick 5 every race day with a 15% takeout on the last 5 races on the card from the country's best racing at Belmont and Saratoga. Find it nationwide on NYRABets.com right in the Bet Type drop-down menu or at any NYRA track or New York OTB location. NYRA Bets Pick 5, racing's best bet.
Undefeated in sprint competition, Eclipse champion Run Happy captured 3 Grade 1 victories and set blistering speed records at both Keeneland and Saratoga. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he dominated the world's fastest runners, going 6 furlongs in a record-breaking 1:08 and change. The only horse nominated for 3 Eclipse Awards, Run Happy was crowned champion male sprinter, all the while racing 100% drug-free. Champion, millionaire, record-breaker, Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
You're watching Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2, MSG Plus, and Altitude Network. Saratoga Live is brought to you in part by champion sprinter Run Happy, who won at 6 different racetracks, was undefeated in sprint competition. This was in the Phoenix. Got off to a slow start, broke dead last. The saddle actually slipped. It was his first against Olders, including defending Breeders' Cup Sprint winner Work All Week. And he would still go on to win. What an incredible sprinter Run Happy was. There he is in Paris, Kentucky at Claiborne Farm. He moved into the same stall occupied by the likes of Secretariat, Unbridled, Easy Goer, Bold Ruler to begin his stud career. And looking forward to seeing his babies on the racetrack. Run Happy now standing at Claiborne Farm. 9th race, our finale, coming up here on this Thursday afternoon. 5.5 furlongs on the turf. New York breds in a maiden special weight, and Scat Back, the 2-horse, will actually have the inside post. That is the 5-2 favorite right now, Gabby.
Kind of surprised to see this horse taking as much money as she is, but we'll go back and take a look at a video spotlight replay that that 2 horses actually both come out of, the number 5 center of the stage and the 2 Scat Back. So I thought the key points of this race were that center of the stage, she clearly wasn't, she didn't get into stride. She kept on checking on the back stretch, and then once they kind of rounded to the quarter pole, she got into a lot of trouble. You can see her right there, Greg, the number 4 horse. She's getting into a substantial amount of trouble and has to check out of position, where we saw Scat Back. She was more forwardly placed. It took a couple of strides for Scat Back to try to find her footing on the ground there. But I wasn't a big fan how Scat Back, was traveling over the course there. It looked like she had her head held high. She was reaching. Whereas center of the stage, with that trouble, with kind of greenish issues, not getting on the right lead, as you can see the number 4 once again coming down the stretch, and with the blinkers on, I'd actually prefer center of the stage coming out of this race and moving forward. What about you guys?
You're probably right, Gabby, and I respect your thoughts on the way they're running and handling the turf. I think we all agree, because we went in different directions. I just don't particularly want anybody out of that race.
No, I'm with her, though. That horse was better. Because here's the deal. In the morning when you're 2-year-olds, you're not grabbing the 2-year-olds twice. They've never been grabbed before. They've never had any issues as you look at your favorite Scat Back. But when you look back at that replay, center of stage is better. And the key about this is, too, Gabby, is that that horse got nothing out of that first race, had a bad break, too, and IRAD sticks.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as we look at the 5 center of the stage, I agree with you guys. If you want somebody out of that race, you want her. I just don't want any of these horses. And the other thing is, sometimes we'll have one of these races and there's sort of no pedigrees to go on, or sort of random pedigrees. I think in this particular race, there are a number of horses that have some pedigrees. And you've got Willie U coming out of this race, first time Lasix ball, but I wouldn't bet this horse with anybody, with Greg's money.
Yeah,
if he had any.
The 4, tough to get to. Of the first-time starters that are taking money, you have Straw Hat, the 9. I think a lot of people maybe don't even know that Jose Ortiz is not on that horse. There's a jockey change to Rosario Montanez. Don't let that talk you off. The 10 horse, surprising to me. Danny Gargan, hot at this meet, 11-1, not getting played.
Yeah, these turf races are random. We're going to go to Maggie, but I do want to get back and talk about some of the pedigrees, because I think there's a very interesting first-time turfers, Maggie.
I'll look at all of them, at least the first-time starters here, guys. We'll take a look at number 1 in here, breaking more towards the outside, is Held Accountable. She is a exchange rate. There was one sibling that was good enough on the turf, and looking at her here, she's a beautifully balanced filly for the Bromans and Phil Serpy. She's been very professional here. She looks fit. You know, a lot of times Phil's horses look as though maybe they'll need a start. Overall, they run well enough, and it's usually their second starts that you want to fire with them. But this filly does look very well prepared in here. I like what I'm seeing from Held Accountable. Now, another horse that isn't taking much money, maybe that's because maybe Tom Bush not known for his first-time starters, but Pound Note is a currency swap. The Dam chorus music was very good on the turf, and she was very good going long on the turf more so, but mix that with the sprint speed of currency swap, Pound Note looks like a turf sprinter. I mean, it's kind of, you know, top and bottom pedigrees marrying together to produce this horse that looks very well suited to this 5.5 furlongs here on this turf course. She could maybe just look a touch more fit, but she's sharp in here, which I find very intriguing for this Tom Bush first-time starter. Moving on to number 9, Straw Hat. Yes, Paulie brings up a great point there with the rider change. She is a half to... Oh, there's no rider change. Jose Ortiz talking to Leah Giramatti right in front of me. So looking at her, she's a half to Dreamboat Annie. Now, Dreamboat Annie was fairly proficient on either surface. She is a posse, though, and I haven't seen posses particularly enthralled with the turf course. She looks as though she could handle it here, but she also looks like she might benefit from getting a race under her belt. We'll see, though. I like the connections. Moving on to number 10, that is Toquette for Danny Gargan. You know, Danny Gargan, he's more known for his claiming operation and the older horses he has. I know he had that one 2-year-old first-time starter who was tipped out all over the place. Even I heard about it, and she won by a pole. This one, not taking much money. She's not that impressive, honestly. I mean, she hasn't turned a hair here. I don't know. I'm going to be taking the wait-and-see approach here with number 10, Toquette, as she is wearing 3/4 cup blinkers here. Paulie, sorry if I had wrong information from you as well.
No, you had right information, actually, from me. At 10:30 in the morning, there was a rider change from Jose Ortiz to Rosario Montanez. Now, either Jose was on the phone on the way to the racetrack, and Leah and the owner said, you should be riding this filly in the last, because it got changed back to Jose Ortiz at about 12:30 or so. Strange. I don't think I've ever seen that. Rider change back to the original rider.
I wouldn't bet this horse if Superman was riding him, to be honest with you. He is a half to a turf winner in Dreamboat Annie, or she is a half to a half of Dreamboat Annie. But Dreamboat Annie was a Freud, and Freud is a very good influence as a turf sire. This one's a posse. That's a negative as a turf sire.
First of all, Superman would be about 100-pound overweight, so I would never play that horse with Superman. Andy's
That's
right.
why I wouldn't bet him.
And he's got a cape. That's not really aerodynamic,
It
is
is not.
But he also could pick up the horse and fly.
Okay, there you go.
That was what I was saying. I sort of meant something like that.
And by the way, they do let me play on credit here, Andy, so I don't need money. I can play as much as I want.
Me too, fortunately.
All right, so Gabby, 2-1, our favorite here. It's still scat back here down on the inside, but you're going to wind up where?
I landed on the horse that Andy would have bet was Superman on her back, and that's the number 9 Straw Hat. And they do bring up very good points. This horse is a half to Dreamboat Annie, who there is turf pedigree there, but she's by Freud. This horse is by Posse, so we'll see. But the foals have been productive.
9-2 on Straw Hat. Here comes our post parade, and Maggie mentioned the one breaking towards the outside. In fact, second to the outside, held accountable. Trained by Phil Serpy with Luis Saez.
This is a horse that's taking some money at the window right now on a first-time starter. I mean, most of the first-time starters could win this race 9-2.
Here's our favorite. Scatback does have experience. Debuted on the turf back here on July 21st. Joel Rosario aboard for Carlos Martin.
And we'll have to work out a trip from the rail post position today. Does have experience, but might be facing slightly tougher today.
Long shot. Pretty River debuts for Gary Contessa with Angel Arroyo. Gets Lasix.
The son of San Pablo. This horse has only had one full hit the ground. It was a winner.
I think the 4's a little interesting. Gets blinkers. That was not listed. Lasix as well for Michael Lauer and Jose Lescano aboard.
And she's definitely on her toes in the post parade right now. She showed speed last time out. Maybe the same tactic today.
Blinkers also on the 5 here. Daughter of Algorithms. Trained by Rudy Rodriguez with Irad Ortiz Jr.
I thought it ran it better than 5th last time out. Blinkers go on for Mr. Dub. And I think this horse is going to fire a big shot today.
Another first-time starter here. Pound note. Eric Cancel aboard for Thomas Bush.
Good-looking filly by Currency Swap and is a half to a turf winner. Tom Bush, very good.
Most experienced runner in the field, but it's the turf debut for Rayana Rhea Delight for Randy Prasad with Luis Reyes.
Well, the buyers are raising 0-5 to 9 the last time.
Here's Sayonara Rose for Michael Morena. Second time out. Chris DiCarlo aboard.
She had some quick gate speed on the main track here last time out. We'll hope to transition that to the turf. Shanghai Bobbies have been popping on the turf as of late.
Straw Hat is the 9 for Leah Geramonti, daughter of Posse with Jose Ortiz in the irons.
This horse has taken a little bit of money, right? 9-2, but this is a horse that Leah's been able to get over the turf course a couple times, so maybe she knows what's under the engine.
And Toquette Kendrick Carmouche riding for Danny Gargan for Antonacci Racing.
She's by Desert Party. She's out of a dirt sprinting mare and has not produced any turf winners. We'll have to work out a trip from the outside.
That is your field right there. A look at center of the stage. As mentioned, she is a daughter of Algorithms, who stands now at Claiborne Farm, retired a perfect 3 for 3 in his career. He was trained by Todd Pletcher. He actually broke his maiden by 5 1/4 lengths at Belmont and then propelled himself onto the national stage with a 5-length win over, you remember, 2-year-old champion Hansen? That was in the Holy Bull. Out of the graded stakes placed mare, Ava knows the code. The dam of 4 other stakes winners as well, including Keyed Entry and Justin Phillip. Pedigree, speed, and class. Algorithms, part of that roster, stallion roster lineup at Claiborne Farm. We're going to take a break in the action. We will talk more Alabama when we come back. Holy Helena, brilliant on synthetic in the first leg of that Canadian Triple Crown, beating the boys. And she transferred that to dirt against a tough field of fillies in the Alabama.
Grade 1 winner Data Link by world-renowned sire Warfront. Data Link scored in the prestigious Grade 1 Makers 46 Mile at Keeneland. Then set a new course record in the Grade 2 Monmouth Stakes. With a pedigree free of Mr. Prospector in the first 4 generations, Data Link is the perfect outcross option. His first weanlings turned heads, selling well above the stud fee. Data Link at Claiborne Farm.
You're watching Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2. We're getting set for our finale coming up. Just another tremendous day here at the spa. 5.5 furlongs on the turf here in our nightcap. We want to take a look at the standings for our Saratoga Showdown and see who's going to collect 50,000 NYRA bets of points. That's equivalent to $50 in your account and earn an entry for a 2018 Belmont Stakes prize package, and we're going to have something wacky happen here. Everybody on that board tied going into the finale.
I actually played it today as well, but everybody's...
wait a minute. I don't... Which one are you?
I'm not on there. But I've done well so far.
I'm glad you played, though.
I
You got to be
too.
in it to win it, as Dwayne Lucas said. So, well done. Whoever comes up with a big nightcap here. Going to get some points in that entry. Remember to play along from home. Get signed up, started with NYRABets.com. $200 you play, and you will get $200 in your account. Use the promo code PIG5. You can get signed up all across the country with NYRA Bets and play along with not only Saratoga, but 200 tracks all across the country. Going to talk about a couple of first-time starters here, including this one, Pound Note. It's a daughter of currency swap, first time out for Thomas Bush.
And she's got a nice little pedigree on the bottom side. She's out of a multiple stakes winner who did her best going long on the turf. She was a New York bred and made upwards of $245,000 on the turf, and she's a half to a turf winner. So there is pedigree there, but is there precocity?
12-1 on Pound Note here. And guys downstairs, did you see any positives here with Pound Note?
Absolutely. Her dam won 6 turf races and 17 starts. She's produced a horse that won in the turf. You don't really know with currency swap, but I'm willing to use her. I want to use horse with pedigree here. I want to use this horse. I want to use the one. I want to use the 8.
I'm with you. I think the 1's the horse just on precocity. You know, Gabby's talking about precocity. Some horses are bred for it. Here's the 6 who is bred for it. I think the 1, exchange rate, they're quick, have an AP Indy mare's got obviously a swing pedigree, can go long, can go short, and also can sprint. So, and getting bet at 9-2. Phil Serpy's pretty good at this.
If you're betting strictly on pedigrees, and that's not, I'm not saying that's the way you necessarily should be betting, but if you are, she overlays the field.
By
I mean,
far.
not only is she a half to a nice horse named Strike the Accord on the turf, but she's an exchange 8 who's a Danzig. It's a huge turf influence.
Yeah.
In the second generation, the dam, you've got multiple turf winners, Ever Hope, Parade Ground, many, many solid horses. This is the horse who has the pedigree.
Yeah, and the thing is sometimes you put credence into a trainer. Now, Phil Serpy is maybe 0 for on with his first-time starters, but he's good with 2-year-olds. So I put that as a wash.
I want to talk quickly about the 8. Paul, you had mentioned this morning that the sire, Shanghai Bobby's, had 3 turf winners already in his young career as a sire. So first foal of Madame, who is a half to a horse, who was 3rd in the Diana. There is serious turf in this horse, and I think she's taking some nibbles right now at like 15-1 because she could be any price off that debut.
Michael Morena's sharp with his 2-year-olds.
And she is covered in the pick six, which is interesting. Only the 3 and 7 not covered in today's pick six. But while I really like Pound Note and number 1 in here, Held Accountable, as far as horses who have run that, well, might be able to turn the tables this time around, that includes number 4. That is Willie Yu, getting Lasix now and blinkers. As you heard Greg mention, she just finally looks fit. Oftentimes when they do get Lasix, it'll tuck them up just a bit more, and that's exactly what Willie Yu has done. She also, as Gabby alluded to, was very much sharp and on her toes, and with those blinkers, she's wearing a 3/4 cup. I think the plan is to try to go to the lead here and wave bye-bye to the rest of the field, but I do think these 2 first-time starters out of the Phil Serpy and Tom Bush barn will have something to say about the outcome of this finale. Greg?
We're going to find out here in a moment. It remains Scat back here, top choice on the board at 2-1. Also the 9 taking money Straw Hat, the firster for Leah Germati, and I'm sure part of that Jose Ortiz is back on board.
For sure, that's definitely helps her. But Andy made some good points with the 8 Sayonara Rose in terms of turf pedigree. This is a very interesting race, and really anything could happen.
Loading up, and there is the 8. Chris DiCarlo, Michael Morena, turf debut for the 2nd start for the daughter of Shanghai Bobby. Let's send it upstairs. The voice of New York racing, Larry Colmus, with the finale here from Saratoga.
Straw Hat and Jose Ortiz coming up to the starting gate, taking their position with center of the stage. And Dorado Ortiz Jr. Held Accountable is moving in. So just a few more to go into the gate once we get center of the stage in. Pound Note. And the last one, Toquette, will complete the line. 9-5 right now on Scatback and Joel Rosario, as the gate crew works on getting Pound Note into the starting gate. She's a bit resistant here. Just about in. She's gone in now. Here's Toquette and Kendra Carmouche to complete the line. Toquette steps forward, goes in. They're all in line. Getting a bit fired up there. Scat back in the inside stall. They're off. Willie Yu goes out to lead them early. And then it's Held Accountable away, running in 2nd to the outside, followed by Pound Note, who came out in 3rd. And then it's Scat back along the rail, Toquette on the far outside, center of the stage, Rihanna Rhea Delight, followed by Pretty River, Straw Hat to the outside, and Sayonara Rose is last. Racing for the far turn, Willie Yu the leader, Held Accountable 3/4 of a length behind, through a 21.87 first quarter. Toquette is in 3rd, 2.5 lengths from the front, then Pound Note, center of the stage, 5th. Scatback is 6th. Pretty River is 7th, racing about 8 lengths off the lead. Beginning to move up is Straw Hat. Straw Hat going by horses here as they come toward the top of the stretch, but just got steadied in traffic. They're into the stretch. Held Accountable the leader. Held Accountable a length and a half. Pound Note coming with a rush on the outside, 2nd. And then it's Willie Yu in 3rd, followed by Scatback on the outside. Center of the stage, Pretty River is next, and they're coming down to the wire, and it is Held Accountable. Held Accountable goes on to win by 2.5 over Pound Note, and then it was Scatback in Pretty River in 102.1.
Exact for $9.
Held Accountable here at 4-1, first time starter by exchange rate, takes the finale. One 6, 2-3 finish. It's Luis Saez aboard for Phil Serpy to close things out here.
Yeah, this filly was the best. You can see her ears are still forward, ready to do a little bit more. I mean, and we were going back to the pedigrees. The horse that had run was the best was the 2, but the first time starters just dominated. You looked at me about halfway through the race, and you said the one's going to win by a pole.
Yeah, well, you could just see she had horse. She asked her, and she ran. The 6 was coming to her. She got a perfect ride. I mean, listen, this was a rare one, and I'm kind of happy because I won some money here.
Yeah.
I've actually picked this cold.
But for
my first NYRA Bets late pick 5 that I hit, Paul, so I'm kind of happy.
Congrats, by the way. And for a New York bred filly, 102 point, that's not bad.
We talked about it beforehand. The horses that had run weren't that good, and these horses had genuinely good pedigrees, Gabby. We talked about it this morning as well.
Exactly. And when you see a 2-year-old filly like that, Andy, that shoots out of the gate as quickly as she did and gets into position from the get-go, you know it's going to be a good sign. So this filly, she had a tremendous turf pedigree, ears pricked at the wire. And we'll go back to the start of the race. And obviously, there are several fillies trying to vie for that early position. Willie, you got it, but held accountable, sat just off of her. Perfect trip.
Perfect trip and best horse. I mean, sometimes the best horse just wins.
Yeah, it is because, Will, you broke sharp. And Pound Note, the other first-time starter, got in a good position, but the one just outran her to the other position, and this horse won nicely. This horse is going to win again. I understand this is a weaker field, but I like the way she lowered her head and got the job done.
I agree. This horse is okay.
Yeah.
All right, we may hear more from Held Accountable. Wins here at 4-1. Again, 1, 6, 2, 3 here in the nightcap. Still have the prices to come. We're going to step aside for a short timeout. His Dubai World Cup was out of this world. Can Arrogate get back to his old self in the Pacific Classic? We'll discuss when we come back.
How do I see New York bred performance? Like this.
Disco.
Here's New York sire Disco Partner setting a new world record in the Jaipur.
Holy mackerel.
And they perform like multiple Grade 1 winner Mind Your Biscuits.
And he's pouring it on late.
Shown here, winning the Belmont Sprint Championship. And New York breds perform in the sales ring, where this filly sold for $750,000. Look for your registered New York performer at upcoming auctions.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new NYRA Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish. From a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. NYRA Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download NYRA Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before. Back on Saratoga Live, and there's your winner here of this finale, Held Accountable. Filly by exchange rate out of an 8P Indy mare, owned by Chester and Mary Broman.
trained by Phil Serpy, and Luis Saez in the irons for the win. Returns $10 for the victory. Pound Note, Scat Back wind up second and third in the race. Let's head downstairs to Maggie, standing by with the winning trainer.
Phil Serpy, that is, and held accountable. She is just that for getting your first win for the Bromans here, Phil. Feels good to get that done, I'm sure.
You know, it does. I've been wanting to train for Mr. Broman for a long time, and, you know, unfortunately we lost Mike Hushin to retirement, but we were able to get some of Mike's horses, and Mike deserves a lot of the credit for this filly's win today also. She's been in the barn a little over a month, and I want to personally thank Mike and of course Mr. Broman for getting this filly to us.
She looked really good. I mean, she was precocious enough to get towards the front end, and she kicked away from this field very nicely, putting a lot of separation between her and the rest.
You know, she looks like many other Broman horses. Mr. Broman spends a lot of time and a lot of money breeding good mares to good stallions, and you see this happen, you know, in a lot of barns that are fortunate enough to train for Mr. Broman, and she's just another one that he's bred that's done a good job.
And you said you had 5 2-year-olds in the barn for him. You have another one in tomorrow's 5th.
We do, and in fact, we expect 4. Well, she's run, so we expect 4 of the 5 2-year-olds to start here. One filly's in tomorrow, first time starter, and we like her a lot also.
All right, Phil. Well, congratulations here. Held Accountable looks like a nice one.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys.
Maggie, thank you. So Phil Serpy giving proper credit to the recently retired Mike Hushin, who is an outstanding trainer, and especially claiming trainer on the New York circuit for so many years. He's been at Saratoga just enjoying life away from the racetrack during this meet. But well done by Phil Serpy here with his first-time starter.
Well done to Phil. And Exchange Rate, we've seen them be excellent juvenile turf sprint sires, so congratulations to him on preparing this filly.
So let's take a look at the NYRA Bets late pick 5 follow-along. 50-cent payout, $544 for this combination, which this afternoon, no big surprises.
No, and look at that, $544, and I thought that the sequence was pretty formful, so nice payout there.
Take a look at the jockey trainer standings. Jose Ortiz continuing to narrowly lead his older brother, Irad Ortiz Jr., but those two just time and time again, so live each and every day.
They're so competitive with each other, and you can see it in the standings right now. Jose, Irad, it seems like every time you look up to the TV, one Ortiz is winning.
And Todd Pletcher won earlier on the card to take the lead. That did not last long. Chad Brown answered back in race 7 with Tapper J, and they're all tied at 25 apiece. And it's going to go down to the wire between those two, we would expect. It's going to be awfully fun. Saratoga Showdown. Look who makes an appearance in the top 10. Andy Serling checking in there in our overall standings there at the bottom of the top 10. So well done by Andy. But Beaver 18, Tim King, Food Guy, a couple others there, all tied. What happens when we have a tie and the card ends?
That's a good question. I don't know, because we've got a couple of players there that tie game. But well done to Andy Serling for getting on the board. Well done.
Yeah, good job by Andy Serling there. So you can play again each and every day. Go to SaratogaShowdown.com or to NYRA.com, and you can also win a prize package or be entered to try and win that for next year for the Belmont Stakes or get some NYRA Bets points as well. Time now for In Case You Missed It. This was yesterday, and this was end play. Paula Duke had mentioned the 6 horse going to be entering your screen here, little Michael Jordan-like with the tongue hanging out. That a result of a piece of equipment known as a tongue tie. To tell us more exactly what a tongue tie is all about, what it's used for, and how it helps a horse in a race, here is Playing from the Paddock with Maggie Wolfendale.
Now, another common thing that you'll often see on horses on race day is a tongue tie. And it's just a simple piece of cotton, of felt, that the horses get put on either in the paddock or before they come over. I'm using my old friend Buffy here. It might be a while since he's had a tongue tie on. So what you do is you grab the tongue and goes around and through like this and ties under their chin. Now,
a tongue tie is used to, one, keep the tongue underneath the bit, and two, prevent them from getting their tongue up, so it helps them breathe a little bit better. Now, Buffy doesn't have a bridle on and is eating a lot of grass, but you see that it keeps his tongue tied safely down to the bottom of his jaw. And it's just another thing to keep that airway kind of clean and open, and to also make sure that they're easily controlled for the jockey.
Poor Buffy. Buffy's 28 years old, and I made him put a tongue tie on. He was a good model, that's for sure, for the tongue tie. But I also wanted to make sure, you know, we've used tongue ties as horsemen for ages. And actually, just a couple years ago, back in 2013, there was an article published in the Equine Veterinary Journal testing the effectiveness of tongue ties. They used 12 standardbred horses, and they actually proved that the lung capacity was heightened, was made greater when horses wore the tongue tie. So it really kind of helps them breathing. It prevents them from displacing. Horses have that soft palate that can flip up sometimes, in which that would block their airway. And like I said in the piece, it also helps control the horse with the bit, whether it's a thoroughbred, whether it's a standardbred, and you're driving them. If they get their tongue over the bit, they're pretty much uncontrollable. Their head will go up in the air. And yeah, end play, looks like he likes to have his tongue tie, as he likes it flapping out in the wind, Greg.
Well done by you to do that while on camera as well. By the way, update for our Saratoga Showdown. Everybody who tied, each and every one of them, get 50,000 NYRA Bets points and an entry into that prize package for next year's Belmont Stakes. Andy Serling will not get any of the above.
He's out.
Sorry to have to report that to him. We're going to take a break in the action. Still to come when we return here on Saratoga Live. We'll sit down with one of Saratoga's leading owners year after year, Michael Dubb, and hear how he's helped transform life on the backstretch. That's next.
Make NYRA Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NYRA Bets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NYRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NYRA Bets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NYRABets.com.
Back here on Saratoga Live. Fans still taking in the action here as the nightcap in the books. Maybe a few with some tickets to cash. And moving on to Friday's action. Always another day to play the races. New York Racing Association proud to offer the most extensive Spanish language content available in the U.S. Luis Grandison provides pre-race analysis and race calls. Here's Literata winning the Saratoga Dew from yesterday.
También por fuera GC Shooting Star ha dominado el comando. En el medio está Literata, está respondiendo y por dentro está avanzando GC American Dream. Va avanzando por dentro Literata una cabeza. GC American Dream está segundo llegando Literata. Ahí se impone sobre GC American Dream. Tercero está finalizando GC Shooting Star.
I was actually back on Monday. Saratoga Dew going to Literata, owned by Michael Dubb, the leading owner at this year's Saratoga meeting. Year in and year out, he's a major force on the New York circuit, but it's been his contributions behind the scenes to horse racing that has been his most gratifying victory.
It's a daisy.
It's close. A dandelion.
Terrifying. No, it's a daffodil.
No, it's a dandelion. And dandelions grow in the grass. It's considered a weed. Okay, guys, have a great day. It's a dandelion. People ask me, you know, what's been your greatest moment in horse racing, and what's your greatest win? And I don't hesitate, the Belmont Child Care Association is the greatest thing I've been involved in. And it's not me, it's we. I mean, you know, this is a team effort. Jerry said, you know, the kids at the track, of the people who work there, they're sleeping in cars, they're left unattended, there's nobody to care for them. It would be a great idea to build a daycare center. You know, Jerry, I'm a builder. I've always wanted to do something for kids. I'll do it. And I always thought I would build a daycare center and ride off into the sunset. But here I am, addicted to horses and addicted to the daycare center. You know, picture going into school and you have a problem with, you know, understanding what the teacher says. So we eliminate that. And now you're going into school and you're actually ahead of what the teacher is teaching. Think of the confidence it instills. So we put the children in such a great position to excel, and they do. And it's great. And the parents have complete peace of mind. Not only are the kids being cared for, but they're given such a strong foundation and such great love and affection. And, you know, when they come out of here, they're really ready for preschool, and they get into preschool and they excel. You know, it's like having a strong foundation on your house. You know, being in the residential development business, I would feel remiss if I didn't use my talents for the benefit of the track. So over a 5-year period, we've refurbished every dormitory on the Oklahoma side. So now the workers up there have a decent place to sleep. We've completed construction of our first brand new dormitory in many decades here at Belmont, and it is a prototype for more to come. My part-time job, which is supposed to be my full-time job, is building residential developments and some retail developments and around the metropolitan area. I built over 7,000 homes. One that I just completed close to Belmont is called Meadowbrook Point. It's the site of former Roosevelt Raceway. And so I have a passion for it because homes make a big impact on people's lives. I've also built a tremendous amount of affordable housing for first-time home buyers. But I'm blessed. It's what I love to do, and it keeps me outside. It keeps mud on my boots, so nobody knows whether I've been to the track or been to a job site. You know, I have a bit of an unbridled love affair with the people of the backstretch because I see such good people working so hard behind the scenes. You know, they don't get the glory, I get the glory. I prayed the horse in. But yet I know this doesn't happen without a whole chain of people. One of my trainers, Rudy Rodriguez, he came here first generation from another country, did all the manual labor, did all the hard work, and he worked so his kids could go to college. And, you know, you watch that and you see the assimilation. This is what it's all about. You want people to succeed. We root for everybody. And they don't necessarily go away at pre-K. They come back for after-school programs. They come back and do volunteer work. They come back and help out. So the pleasure of watching these children, you know, grow up and be successful and be good people is just, you know, enormous, because we know that it all begins with the foundation, and that's what we do. It's the greatest gift. I mean, if you said to me, win the Kentucky Derby or this, I would choose this. So that's how I feel about it. Now, I'd like to do both, but that's a different story.
Well, and you could just tell that Michael Dubb absolutely means that when he says that. He donated the materials and labor for the construction of the Anna House in 2002 and for its expansion in 2012. He joins the guys downstairs right now.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have Michael Dubb join us in the set. It's not your first time. Last time you were on, it was a little bit rainy out. I think it was the day we canceled last year, but love seeing your work with Anna House and with the backstretch workers as well, Michael.
Yeah, thank you. We really enjoy it. And just seeing the kids thrive and the backstretch workers have a better place to live and a better place to work, it's all worthwhile.
Well, understanding what goes on behind the scenes, you've been a horse owner. I mean, the last thing you said in there about the Kentucky Derby compared to what you've done with the Anna House, now with over 90-some-odd kids, 75-some-odd kids, $1 million to build. Now you're refurbishing all this and that. The gratification.
Well, yeah, it's a gift that keeps giving, and
cap and gowns is awesome, by the way.
This day will bring you to tears. It's just incredible seeing these kids, how confident they are, and we ask each one what they're going to be when they grow up, and a police officer, a fireman, a jockey, a ballerina. They all have goals, they all have ambition, and they come in really, really energetic, and they're really well prepared for the world.
And the people in the backstretch do so much. I mean, everything that happens here, it couldn't happen without them. And just for you to have an opportunity to be able to give back to them must be very satisfying.
Well, I was telling somebody today, you know, when I was young, I pushed a lawnmower for many years. I never went to college, and I really identify with the backstretch people. I did a lot of heavy manual labor for many, many years into my 20s. And you know, it's tough. People really don't understand how grueling the work is, the conditions up here in the heat, in the wintertime, in the cold weather. And we'd have nothing without them. And they're great people, and they usually do it with a smile on their face.
The understanding that you don't, that he gets, and that what he's trying to relate is that you were saying earlier, there's no off season. Someone has to watch these horses 365 days a year. Someone has to watch your horses.
Yes.
And Wednesday night, this coming Wednesday night, about 6 days from today, is the annual BCCA Anna House, the Belmont Child Care Association. Their dinner in Saratoga, and you're obviously a big part of that as well.
Well, Paul said the word 365 days a year, opening at 5 a.m. until everybody on the backstretch has picked up their kids in the afternoon, is the Anna House. There's no day off. There's no day off for the horse. There's no day off for the people who take care of the horses. And it's such a great cause. It's such a great assistance to the people who work on the backstretch that we're really always excited, because the owners in Saratoga, they're kind of a big family, and this is the one time we come together as a family to celebrate what we do, raise money for it, and really and revel in what the kids do. So it's a special event. This will be our 20th year.
Well, I've been hosting it for a few years, and to me, it's just an honor that you guys would ask me to be involved in something that important. And we have the Anna House song, I believe, as well, which I think we're gonna play the Anna House song.
Oh, that
also.
is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one look at me and you decided we deserve the best, and they put
that the kids are wearing the Dub silk. It's that they're wearing those yellow silks because we've seen the yellow silks win some big races, including the Breeders' Cup Sprint a couple of years ago.
So Anna House has a board of directors, and they work tirelessly. And Anna House has a great president in Libby Imperial, great executive director in Joanne Adams, and they make those decisions. I'm just a builder.
So there's just a coincidence that those Wavell Avenue silks coming down the stretch at Keeneland look so similar to the outfits at graduation. But all kidding aside, this must have been a great moment for you.
That was fantastic. We bought that filly at the Horses of Racing for sale for $70,000. Gave it to Chad Brown, and the rest is history.
When you talk about, how you're a builder. You built over 7,000 homes, and you make a special thing about the Anna House. Now you have a horse that wins the Breeders' Cup, a filly and mare sprint, and you can't really rank them. You still want to rank the Anna House. As you see, it's Condo Commando, one of the better winners here at Saratoga, some of your better horses, and Leaning Owner. I think a lot of people don't realize that as well. What's the biggest satisfaction you get besides the Anna House? Do you still get nervous when your horses go out through the gate?
I get nervous for every single race. I get butterflies. I say I can't believe they haven't opened the gate yet. Please, let's get it on. And, the jubilation never stops. It's funny. I was in my office the other day watching the TV. It was actually Literata. And
we put him in the winner's circle for you, yeah.
Yeah.
We did that just for you.
I appreciate that, guys. So there I am in silence watching the TV, waving my hand, and my son is looking at me, kind of like I have 3 heads. But the excitement never ends, and it's terrific.
Well, we're thrilled to have you join us up here, and we do appreciate everybody. Appreciates everything you've done here. We've got a lot more coming up on Saratoga Live. Michael, thanks a lot. We're going to take a break. We'll be coming back with Chris Kay, the New York Racing Association President and CEO.
NYRA Pick 5 is now available exclusively online at NYRABets.com. Bet the NYRA Pick 5 every race day with a 15% takeout on the last 5 races on the card from the country's best racing at Belmont and Saratoga. Find it nationwide on NYRABets.com right in the Bet Type drop-down menu or at any NYRA track or New York OTB location. NYRA Pick 5, racing's best bet.
You're watching Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2. We want to remind everyone you can't ever miss a Saratoga race or all the expert analysis if you download the NYRA Now app. All videos also on demand in HD. Makes it the ultimate app for horse racing fans. Get dialed into Saratoga. Download the NYRA Now app today. Well, I had a special guest downstairs. We have a special guest up here on the roof as well. President and CEO of the New York Racing Association, Chris Kay.
Great to be here.
Spending some time with us here. We appreciate it. Let's start off with this meet. Everyone, each and every year, looks forward to Saratoga. It's such a special place. I said earlier in the show, it's horse racing's field of dreams. It really has that feel. but it's been another great season. But there's still a lot to look forward to, isn't there?
Oh, there is. So you're right. I love that Field of Dreams. The fact is we got the Alabama coming up this weekend. It's going to be a very competitive field. And then the following Saturday, of course, is the Travers. And what a field we're going to have for the Travers. We're going to have the winner of the Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont. And, of course, also the winner of the Jim Dandy. And as we all know, the winner of the Jim Dandy, Good Samaritan, came out of nowhere to beat the winners of the Preakness and the Derby. So it's going to be an incredible field.
So much to look forward to. Of course, yeah, Songbird is going to be on the undercard of that program as well. We have the Alabama coming up this weekend, so a lot to look forward to. If you haven't made it out to the meet, you definitely have to try and get out here, or, of course, you can watch Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2. Let's talk about NYRA Bets, because we tell all our viewers here that watch the show, get signed up, get started with NYRA Bets. It launched nationally last year. How's the response been with it so far?
I am thrilled. It's exceeded all of my expectations. So last year, we launched NYRA Bets, and it was flawless. We have a great CIO and made sure that that worked beautifully. And we also had Saratoga Live at the same time, and it was tremendous. This year, it's even better. I mean, I know the stats show that 55% more minutes are being utilized around the country, which means more than 50% of people are watching it this year, and they're watching it longer, which is fantastic. And now with a late pick 5, it's become one of the most popular bets across America. And so everything that you guys have done here and the entire team for NYRA TV has been fantastic.
And again, everyone able to get signed up and started nationwide with NYRA Bets, so that's a big positive as well. I know since you came here to the New York Racing Association under your leadership, it's been a big director for you to try and improve and enhance the guest experience on track. You do that, they'll keep coming back for more and more. You've done a tremendous job with that. One of the things you've done is that Walk of Fame here at Saratoga. How pleased are you with how that's sort of taken off and how that's added to the experience here at the spa?
Well, the whole idea behind the Walk of Fame was for people to understand the contributions and achievements of some of the great people in our sport, and in particularly young people who may not know anything about it. This may be their first time at a racetrack, or they may be young. And what really kind of is encouraging is to go there on any given day, like I did today, and there'll be 20 to 25 people in there reading about a Mary Lou Whitney or a Denny Phipps or a Jerry Bailey or anyone, Tom Durkin. And so there's so many different great people in our sport, and they really connect with them. We have a plaque that's twice the size of the plaques that you have, of course, at Cooperstown. They get a red jacket, similar to the green jacket you get at the Masters. And then we also have these massive interactive boards. So now you can pull up the Travers race dating back to the 60s and watch any one of those races for the last 30 or 40 years. And the same is true for the Whitney. So it's become a big fan favorite. And a lot of people bring their children there to say, I was here for that Travers race. It's really cool.
And, of course, next Friday before the Travers, we're going to have a new inductee. Ramon Dominguez will be the latest honoree inducted into that Walk of Fame here at Saratoga, so that'll be a special moment.
And he is a special person. He was one of the greatest jockeys here in New York circuit. He was the Eclipse Award winner in 2010, 2011, and 2012. But he is also beloved by fans everywhere. When you see him on property at Belmont or Aqueduct or here at Saratoga, everyone gravitates to Ramon. So it's going to be a great day. Last year we had Cott Campbell, who lives near Augusta, Georgia, and he made everybody across the country aware of the fact that wearing a red jacket was the equivalent of wearing the green jacket as far as our sport is concerned. And I'm personally looking very forward to the moment when Ramon Dominguez will bear that red jacket.
Cott Campbell, of course, of Dogwood Stables, primarily responsible for bringing smaller syndicates into horse racing, which really changed the sport. I get asked about this quite a bit ever since I've come out here to New York to work on these shows. People come up to me and they say, is there going to be a Breeders' Cup back in New York in the near future? Is that in the works?
Well, I think it's important to put weather into the analysis. So when you look at the weekend where the Breeders' Cup would take place, one year we had a 6-inch snowstorm in New York City, and one year we had Hurricane Sandy. So you need to have a winterized building. You need to have a building to be prepared in case it gets cold. And we're taking steps now to look at how we could make Belmont a winterized facility. But it's a process that will take time. But we do hope that at some point in the future, I can't tell you when, we'll be able to say we have the kind of facility that would be proud to host another Breeders' Cup. And it would be one that would be warm in case it needed to be.
You may have the key already, because who'd you pay off to get this great weather here all meet? It's been tremendous.
Yes, it has. We've been blessed by the Lord, that's for sure. It has been fantastic weather here, and if you haven't been coming out, if you live within the sound of our voices, please come by car or train or plane, because this is the best horse racing in the world at the most majestic track in the world, and the weather has been superb.
Before we let you go, I need to get a little piece of advice for all our youngsters out there who might be in a relationship. We saw last Saturday you celebrated your 40th wedding anniversary. Yeah. You and your lovely wife, Chris, as well. What's the key to success to maintaining and having a happy 40 years together? Pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. It's partnership. It's not having one person insist upon always having his way or her way. As I said at the time, it was a wonderful surprise party created by our daughter, Lauren, and our son-in-law, Adam. But, you know, there are a number of tough decisions we've made in our lives, and my wife has been there every step of the way. She's been incredibly supportive. I hope I've been supportive for her in her tough moments, and that's the key to success.
90-10 compromise?
Well, I'll tell you what. When you get involved in an issue and you're living it every day, it's great to have that perspective from your wife who can help you make sure you're going to do the right thing long term. So I'm deeply indebted. I don't know where I'd be without her. And it's been a great 40 years.
Well, it's been a great few years with you here as well, leading the way with the New York Racing Association. Thanks for spending some time, and thanks for all that you have done. We're going to take a break in the action. Chris Kay, President and CEO of NYRA, taking some time to join us here. And as he mentioned, still so much great racing still to come, including the Alabama this weekend and the Travers and Personal Ensign with Songbird August 26th. We're going to take a break in the action, and we're going to talk a little Alabama. When we return, it certainly could be an Alabama for the ages. A deep, loaded field, and we'll talk about it when we come back.
Make NYRA Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NYRA Bets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NYRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NYRA Bets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NYRABets.com.
Multiple Grade 1 winner First Samurai by Giants Causeway got off to a quick start at stud, siring Grade 1 winners in each of his first 3 crops. His talented son Lee captured the Grade 1 Don Handicap in record time and retired to stud with over $2.3 million in earnings. Sovereign Award nominee Stack Deck captured the Grade 3 Bold Venture Stakes and Grade 2 Kennedy Road Stakes, both just to tick off track record times. First Samurai at Claiborne Farm. Undefeated in sprint competition, Eclipse champion Run Happy captured 3 Grade 1 victories and set blistering speed records at both Keeneland and Saratoga. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he dominated the world's fastest runners, going 6 furlongs in a record-breaking 108 and change. The only horse nominated for 3 Eclipse Awards, Run Happy was crowned champion male sprinter, all the while racing 100% drug-free. Champion, millionaire, record-breaker, Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
And they're off. NYRA Bets Pick 5 is now available exclusively online at NYRABets.com. Bet the NYRA Bets Pick 5 every race day with a 15% takeout on the last 5 races on the card from the country's best racing at Belmont and Saratoga. Find it nationwide on NYRABets.com right in the Bet Type drop-down menu or at any NYRA track or New York OTB location. NYRA Bets Pick 5, racing's best bet.
Back on Saratoga Live, you can keep playing with NYRA Bets. Since we're all wrapped here at Saratoga, 250,000 point all split on the 5th race at Del Mar. Bet a $10 base exacta in race 5 at Del Mar, and win or lose, you split 250,000 points. An easy way to get your Del Mar betting off to a great start. You can see all the summer promotions and bet racing nationwide at NYRABets.com. Coming up this weekend, is he back to his old self, the dominant, the brilliant Arrogate? This was probably his best moment ever. Slow start, sawed off beginning of the race, and he comes on to just romp in the Dubai World Cup. Everybody wants to see this super horse return, but we don't know if he will.
We're going to have to wait and see. Obviously, this was one of his most incredible performances, as you were alluding to, Greg, but he came back in the San Diego at Del Mar a few weeks ago, and a very lackluster performance. And Mike Smith saying that just a few strides out of the gate, he knew that he wasn't going to be the same horse. But Bob Baffert, you have to give him credit. I don't think he'd run him if he didn't think he could win.
Andy, Paul, we talked about it the other day. It's a make-or-break race for him, but seeing the last work as well when he was throwing his head around, here it is, gives you a little pause.
Yeah, I'm not a workout guy. I'm going to go on the fact that this is the best horse in the world, and as Gabby said, Bob Baffert wouldn't run him if he didn't believe he was going to show up and run well. And with the NYRA Del Mar Pick 4 involving our 2 stakes and then the Pacific Classic into the Del Mar Oaks, I'm going to single Arrogate, Paul. I believe.
I believe because I believe in Bob Baffert. You know what? Obviously, everybody knows I was out there for 10 years. And this guy made more audibles than I've ever seen in my life. He is the Peyton Manning, the Joe Montana, whatever you want to call it. When he makes the audible, it is right. I did not like a lot of his horses. I remember talking to him about American Anthem, and I go, I love American Anthem. He goes, you better love Mastery. Mastery was better. Then I told him I didn't like More Spirit. He goes, you know what? I changed something on More Spirit. He's going to be better next time. Wins by a pole. The guy makes adjustments like I've never seen before in my life, and that's what makes him the best trainer. And I say this from I always say this all the time. I think what makes him the best trainer, Andy, is that he gets to see all of his horses, and he has one string in California. He doesn't sort of spread the wealth.
Well, he certainly is a great trainer. He needs no introduction on that. I doubt Arrogate is even money. And as a racing fan, I just hope he comes back.
I'm with
and
you.
runs
I
a
hope
big
he
race.
runs good, yeah.
Yeah, no chance he'll be even money. It was kind of comical to see that as a morning line. But, you know, he does have something to prove after that San Diego. But we'll wait and see what happens on Saturday. He has been absolutely brilliant his 4 races prior. Not just brilliant, but record-setting performances. NYRA Bets, get your money back if your horse finishes second in the Pacific Classic. Just bet $20 to win on one horse in the Grade 1 Pacific Classic featuring Arrogate. Receive $20 if your horse finishes second, post time 8:30 Eastern. Of course, we have a big one coming up this weekend as well with the Alabama, an Unchained Melody. She has reeled off back-to-back wins since she stretched out to a mile and a 16th. This was her win in the Grade 2 Mother Goose.
And since they've been giving her added distances, Greg, she's just absolutely delivered. And here, this was an impressive winner. We saw Lockdown try to kind of test her coming down the stretch. She wasn't having any bit of that. This is a filly that has a lot of fight in her. She had her ears pricked to the wire, won in good energy, and she looks like she might be the main speed in the Alabama.
Yeah, I think she's a terrific filly, and she's going to be very tough to beat in here. And the way I think she's a terrific filly, and I just think she's very much the one to beat in here in a very tough field.
Yes.
She can't make any mistakes. Now, Lockdown ran well in there, and Lockdown did stumble at the start, so that should be noted. But I don't think that Lockdown finished like a horse that's going to get better with distance, and I think Unchained Melody did.
Yeah, you make a good point there. You know, Unchained Melody doesn't look like she was stopping, and she looked like she had a ton of fight. This is such an eclectic group. You have a horse that's a Grade 1 winner on turf, a Queen's Plate winner on synthetic. A late couldn't have run better than she ran last time. Salty got a little unlucky. You just can make a lot of different things for a lot of different horses in here. But Unchained Melody is the horse to beat because she's the horse to catch.
I even think this horse who was second in the Indiana Oaks, Craig, ran well enough that she should be considered against a very, very slow pace. This is a wonderful race. Everybody
in this field, top to bottom, has a chance to win this race. And the horse Andy was talking about, Mopatism there for Doug O'Neill, Florent Giroux. Yeah, even given a chance at 20-1.
She's going to be closing from off the pace, but she too has reeled off some nice performances. This is a stacked field from top to bottom.
Cannot wait for the Alabama on Saturday. Meanwhile, the Union Avenue today was Pico Uno. She's won 5 of her last 6 starts. Jason Service, well done with the victory. Post-race interview. Couldn't help but look ahead a little bit as well. He's got a shot in the Alabama as well with Actress. We'll see you back on Friday, same time, with more Saratoga Live.